Live.
You can remember the name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la.
From the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios, you're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Addressing Gettysburg, at least up until now, and you're probably just tuned out. So there you go. Thank you for watching.
Good show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Addressing Gettysburg. Ask a Gettysburg Guide number
134.
134 is what we're up to. And today we're talking about something a little different. It's not about the battle. It's about battle reenactment. Perhaps the first one ever on the Gettysburg battlefield. And it was in 1922, and it was performed. Well, I said perhaps. I choose my words very carefully. Okay. It was 1922, and it was the Marine Corps that did the reenactment of Pickett's charge. But it was more than that. It was much more than that, and there was a lot of politics behind it. And it's a very interesting story. And here to tell us about it is licensed battlefield guide Rich Kohr. Welcome, Rich.
Hey, Rich. Thank you for having me back.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yep. It's good to have you back. So, also with us is Mikey B. Hello, Mikey B. How are you? All right.
Last time we did a show with Rich, you said he's not allowed to come back, but he's here.
Well, I changed my mind.
Okay.
Yeah,
we can do it.
First of all, I never said that. Don't
Siegel wasn't available? Was that it?
Yeah. That's not true. Okay. All right. Now, the other thing we want to do is, if you're watching tonight, of course, we will read your comments on the air. If it's a super chat of $10 or more, that also helps defray the cost of doing the show, etc. But it's also an easy way for our eyes to be caught because it comes in a different color. Also, 717-420-1978 is the phone number to call if you want to talk to Rich. And we have yet again another contest for you listeners. This time around, we are asking you to guess the animal that Rich just wrote down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, the feedback we got from guess what number Ken wrote down was good. They wanted to be a bit more analytical.
Yes.
So we said, you know what? We're going to do something that makes sense.
Right.
And we're going to do guess which animal Rich is thinking of. And it's going to be closest to the animal without going over.
Right. Always Price is Right rules here.
Yep.
So guess which animal, put it in the comments. Mike's going to take care of that. After the commercial break, we will announce the winner. And the winner will get, once again, a Gettysburg candle from Mikey's wonderful Gettysburg candles at gettysburgcandles.com. You know, I'm going to recommend that they get Devil's Den. The fall's coming up. It reminds me of the fall. I smell a little apple in there, a little cinnamon, little cardamom. And of course, in the back there is Tad. He is running the cameras and all that other jazz. Okay, let's get on with the show now. Okay, so Rich, the 1922 reenactment of Pickett's charge. And this is something I was watching a program that you did up at the Army War College. Yes. That's not what they call it. It's not the Army War College anymore.
I think it was the Army History Institute or something along those lines.
Like that. I'm sorry, with all due respect. To me, it's always the Army War College. Yeah. So you gave a talk there during COVID, so it was on Zoom.
Yep.
And so I was watching that this afternoon to kind of bone up on it. And one of the things that was interesting that I'd heard about this before. We did a show about it years ago, and I was sketchy on the details even then. But this time around, I couldn't remember much. And one of the things that I was kind of surprised by was that there was nobody on the Union side of this. This was right. And we'll get into this later. But
right now, it's a simulated attack.
Yeah,
with an imaginary defending force.
Both times, right?
Both times.
Okay.
Right. Well, eventually all three times, which we'll talk about later as well.
Right, very
okay.
Good.
Now, having said that, apparently there were 2 Union veterans from the 12th New Jersey.
Yeah.
Who had fought here at Gettysburg, who were present. There's a number of Civil War veterans, that are here observing this. And when the Marines found out that these guys had defended Cemetery Ridge on July the 3rd against Pickett's charge, they did give them weapons. And these guys apparently took position by the 12th New Jersey's monument. But so there's a defending force of two. Okay, right?
Two old guys.
Two guys with 03 Springfields trying to figure out how they work. Okay, but other than that, no, it's a simulated attack against an imaginary force.
Which was interesting because I always thought it was both defending and attacking. Okay, so let's go back then because there's some politics behind this. This isn't just something the Marine Corps thought would be fun to do. There's a reason why they're doing this. It's part of a broader campaign.
Yeah.
Go into that.
Yeah, so and this, you and I have talked about this a couple times, and I've done this program on the battlefield. I've done it for Civil War roundtables. I did it, as you mentioned, for Carlisle. And this is always the first question that people ask me is, why?
Why?
Okay,
yeah. Why the Marines?
Why the Marines?
Yeah.
And why 1922? Because let's face it, people don't get excited by anniversary years that end in 9.
Right.
We get excited by the anniversary years that end in 0, and we get really excited every 25 years, right?
Right.
So this is basically post-World War I politics, where you really have, just the downsizing of all branches of the military as a result of, the Great War is over and we're going back to, peacetime size. But the Marines have a special problem, which is the way they served during the First World War is no different than what the Army did. So as Congress is cutting budgets, one of the things they're looking at is, okay, do we really need a Marine Corps if they're no different than the Army? Should we just get rid of them? Blackjack Pershing wanted to take the Marine Corps and absorb it into the Army, exactly. And so the Marines are really fighting for their existence. They're trying to justify their existence as a separate branch of the service.
So interesting because the effect of World War I and where they were and how they fought has so much to do with that.
Yeah.
The Marines were fighting inland because they weren't needed anywhere.
Right.
It's almost like there's a little short-sightedness. But again, they thought they had just fought the war to end all wars.
And that's it. Everybody's thinking, at this point, American foreign policy is shifting more towards an isolationist view. Everybody's thinking, we're not going to have another massive war like that. There was a thesis written. I think I have it right here. Let me look. Why, there it is. Yes, it's called "Army Downsizing Following World War I." Okay, and this guy writes that the world was perceived as safe for democracy. Many congressmen thought the Army superfluous, except for riot duty.
Wow.
So there's no reason to have a military except when, Pullman goes out on strike. Okay, right?
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. So
What a different world. If was that a serious attitude then?
it really was.
Well, even before World War I, the Army was very small.
Yeah.
I mean, the ramp up.
I guess
that
it was
they had when they joined the
it was a different war.
Well, the Marine Corps
world.
Marine Corps downsizes from 72,000 men at its peak during World War I to, I think in 1920, they're down to just over 19,000 men.
Okay.
So they're shrinking, but this is happening to all branches of the service.
Right.
They're shrinking.
Right.
So the defense budget, everybody wants their piece of the pie.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a real struggle between the various branches of the service here, to get funding. And the guy, I think, who really understood how important public relations is going to be in preserving the Marine Corps is John Lejeune, who is then Commandant of the Marine Corps. And Lejeune makes the statement that the Marines are dependent on the affection of the American people.
Yeah.
So, his theory is if the public loves the Marine Corps, it's going to be real tough for Congress to get rid of us. So a great deal of this is, trying to get that positive public relations. Now, there's a practical component, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this is really a kind of a PR move.
And this was a serious movement somewhere where they felt that this was a necessary thing to do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got Lejeune, who's commandant, and you also have Smedley Butler, Brigadier General Smedley Butler, who is the He commands what they call the Eastern Expeditionary Force. That's the Marines who were stationed at Quantico, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And again, both these guys understood PR. Butler's trying to get people to come onto the base at Quantico, to see the Marines in action. I mean, he built a stadium. He had a football team that was playing, college teams in Virginia. He had a baseball team. They had concerts, But one of these guys, we think it might have been Butler, it came up with this idea of, let's go off base. Let's go to a Civil War battlefield and do maneuvers. And we'll get the media's attention and we'll get politicians to come down from D.C. And there'll be some practical training where we can get these guys out in the field and kind of, teach them how to use equipment, not just in a sterile environment, but actually, in kind of a real world type of scenario.
And they don't come straight to Gettysburg.
No, this is actually the second one. First one, 1921, they went to the wilderness.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is, when does this whole campaign begin? 21?
This is so in 1921, they go to the wilderness, and they're going to do this for 4 years.
Okay.
And each year they go to a different battlefield. So in 21, it's the wilderness. 1922, they come here. 1923, they went to the Shenandoah Valley and recreated, and that's the term they used. They didn't use the term reenactment.
Right.
It's the recreation of these battles. But they did Newmarket. And then in 1924, which was the last year they did it, Antietam.
Why didn't they at least try to make the last number of the year match the year the battle happened?
See, I look at the wilderness as kind of the.
See, that's why they say Marines eat crayons. I just can't. I did not earn the right to make that joke.
We're not
Forgive
going to
me.
offend our friends in the Marine Corps. Okay.
We used to have one that worked with us here.
But I think 1921 was kind of a let's see how this goes. Because Quantico is not that far from the wilderness.
Right.
It's like 40 miles.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And they don't even play up the Civil War connection. You look at the 1921 maneuvers, it's maneuvers that happen to take place on a Civil War battlefield.
Okay. Gotcha.
They did it in September. I mean, it wasn't even the right time of year.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
It's what government land is owned and available. The battlefield.
By the War
By the War
Department.
Department.
This is the Park Service isn't...
Right.
That might even have towers for observational purposes.
And while we're at it, let's make sure it's close to D.C.
Yep.
Because we want President Harding to come out. If Harding comes out, the media is going to come out. We want congressmen to come out and see us in action.
You said they built, as part of this whole visibility thing, they built a stadium, like a sporting stadium.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about that. The one thing they don't have that the Army and the Navy has, they don't have football. They don't have.
But they did.
Institutions.
At this point, they did.
Right. So did they have a school that the young officers were going to?
I don't think so.
So that's part of.
Well, actually, young officers in the Marine Corps went to, and still do,
Navy.
The Navy Academy.
Right.
Naval
so
Academy.
it's an attempt for them to say, hey, we need more visibility like the other branches have, through sport and things like that.
And one of the things that comes out of that, I'm just going to throw this out there because I enjoy it. Butler decides that if we're going to have a football team, we need a mascot. And he goes out and buys a bulldog. And this is where the whole, bulldog as the mascot of the Marine Corps begins.
Okay.
And the first mascot, and you might be able to pull up an image, was Sergeant Major Jiggs. And there's these fantastic pictures from 1922 and 23 and 24 of this bulldog in a football helmet and things like that.
The one I saw was him on top of like a yardage marker.
Yeah, he's sitting on top of a yardage marker with a campaign hat on. And I mean, it's just fantastic stuff.
Well, let's see. We found, hold on. Let me see if I can find a good one here. Can't find the one you're talking about there. Oh, well, wait. This might be.
There's one of him in a plane.
Yeah, there's one of him in a plane with the goggles on. Yep.
Well, let's see here. This is a good quality one. So let me see if I can blow it up there. All right, go ahead there, Ted.
There he is.
There he is.
So
got his little hat on.
He's got his hat on.
What a cutie pie, right?
Exactly.
What a look on his face. Look at that.
And they're going to go through several. There's Jigs 1 and Jigs 2 and Jigs 3. I mean, they're
of course.
Up until I think World War II. When, Then they have one that they called Smedley in honor of Smedley Butler, and then eventually Chesty.
Oh, Chesty,
for Chesty
sure.
Puller, which is the modern mascot. But that's where it starts with the bulldog mascot.
So it starts during this whole campaign.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Because Americans love their dogs too.
They love dogs.
Yeah.
They love dogs. Right.
Tad?
Well, you have my mic muted still. So.
Oh, no. I hear you.
Court had a question.
What's up, Courtney? Courtney has a question here.
I had a question for Rich.
Yes, sir.
Did their decision to reenact the wilderness have anything to do with their fighting at Belleau Wood?
Not
so
really.
The question, just so the audience could hear, did their decision to do it again, Court? In the mic, I already forgot your question.
Did their decision to, well, maybe it wasn't a decision, but did their reenactment of the wilderness have anything to do with their fighting at Belleau Wood?
And I don't think it did. As a matter of fact, kind of the highlight of the 1921 maneuvers in the wilderness was to show how they could defend a battleship.
Oh.
They literally carved the full-size silhouette of a battleship out of the wilderness.
What do you mean? Like out of the dirt or out of the trees?
Out of the dirt. It looks like it was chalk. You know, it's just you can see this full outline of a battleship. And the reason for this is, I think a year earlier, and Marine aviation was actually involved in this. There was a German battleship that was captured at the end of World War I that the Army Air Corps and Marine aviation sunk in the Chesapeake Bay with an aerial assault. And the Army Air Corps is going, hey, Congress, while you're writing checks, stop writing checks for battleships. They're vulnerable. We just proved it. Give us more money for aircraft.
Okay.
So the Marines and the Navy is like, hey, we're going to show you that we can defend a battleship from an aerial attack. So they have this silhouette of a battleship in the wilderness. They put anti-aircraft guns on it, manned by Marine gunners. They have Marine aviators flying air cover, and then other Marine aviators simulating attacks. So that's the kind of thing they're doing in 1921.
Okay. So the trip to Gettysburg, then they're gonna do this by foot and vehicle, right?
Yeah. So I think once 1921 goes well, now they're thinking more in terms of, okay, let's go to a more high profile battlefield. We're gonna try to get spectators to come out here and see us in action. Again, got to be close to D.C. because we want to get the president out there and the media and members of Congress. And they decide, okay, we're coming to Gettysburg. And this time they're going to do it on the anniversary of the battle. So the plan was they were going to come up here. They leave Quantico on June the 19th, arrive at Gettysburg on June the 26th. The fighting troops, the combat troops are on foot. Support personnel are in vehicles. They're bringing a huge number of vehicles up there, over 700 vehicles of various types. And, they're going to recreate Pickett's charge. And the plan was they're going to do it twice. They're going to do it on July the 3rd using Civil War tactics. So they're teaching these guys, how to march in, linear formations and that sort of thing. And then on July the 4th, they're going to recreate Pickett's charge a second time using modern equipment and modern tactics. So this was the idea of kind of contrasting the old way of fighting with, the new way and the new technology and that sort of thing.
So how long does it take them to get up here? They get here on June 26th.
Yeah, so they start out on the 19th. The first leg, the combat troops are actually taken by barge from Quantico to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And then the vehicles are driving up, to Fredericksburg and then up to Washington. And then over the next 7 days, they're making their way through Maryland and eventually up into Pennsylvania. The marches, any given day, anywhere from 15 to 18 miles. When they went from Frederick to Thurmont, that was the longest march. That was 18 miles.
Okay.
Yep.
And you've got a good story about that too, right?
Yeah,
The
so
6 Corps soldier.
As they're coming up the road, every time they're stopping, there's Civil War veterans, coming out, interacting with the Marines and such. And when they get to Thurmont, there was a guy, his name was Henry Flegel, and he was a veteran of the 6th Corps during the American Civil War. And I can just visualize this happening. You've got, this young Marine, probably a 19, 20-year-old kid, talking to these Civil War vets, and he turns to Flegel and he says, "We marched 18 miles today. I'll bet you never did anything like that while you were in the Army." And this is, at this point, he's pulled the pin out of the grenade, okay? Because Flegel's not going to take this kindly, and he just starts dressing this kid down. And, when I was we marched 30 miles, and the last 3 miles was a double quick. And, he finally says, "You don't know what hiking is, son." Okay? So it's, but there's these great newspaper accounts of, Marines, passing through these communities, halting for the night, and interacting with Civil War veterans. There's a great picture I've got here, and this is actually the Marines passing through Emmitsburg, Maryland. Mm-hmm. And if anybody's familiar with Emmitsburg, this is where the only traffic light in Emmitsburg is today, right?
Yeah, it's a square.
Yeah, so behind the photographer is the Odd House. And the building on the other side of the intersection there still stands today. And you can see the Marines passing through. Yeah. And at that point, there was a traffic circle in the center of Emmitsburg.
It's funny because it looks like either a movie set or a park because it's such a small square.
Yeah,
even today, it's a very small square.
Matter of fact, a couple of years ago when they redid that intersection and they put the outline of that center circle and fountain into the pavement there.
Yeah, you could really see how small it was.
But those guys in the foreground, you see them holding the flags there.
Yeah, these guys right here.
Yep, those are Civil War veterans. The Baltimore Sun had a reporter embedded with the Marines,
right?
And he's filing stories every day.
Sorry, come over just a little bit because you got to get the sixth guy.
I know I have this.
Yeah, and the sixth guy is a Confederate.
Here, man.
Is a Confederate veteran. There's the guy kind of in the light colored hat, all the way on the far left.
Where am I? There I am.
He's a Confederate veteran, and then the other 5 were all Union veterans from the local GAR post in Emmitsburg. 5 of the 6 are identified by the Baltimore Sun.
Okay.
So they actually identified who these guys were.
Anybody we would know?
Nobody, just regular guys in the ranks, private soldiers.
Okay. And so they go up through Emmitsburg, almost here. Well, this is the march to Gettysburg. So so they're coming from Thurmont to Gettysburg. So they're coming up the Emmitsburg Road basically. Yeah.
And then as they arrive in Gettysburg on June the 26th, they begin to set up what they referred to as Camp Harding, which is where they're going to spend the 10-day period here on the battlefield.
Do you think they would have named it something else if Harding wasn't coming up and they knew it?
No, what they are doing is each camp they named for
somebody
a Marine
important.
Corps officer,
okay.
And then the camp here they named for the president. Yeah.
Was this the only one that he came to?
No.
He came to all of them?
He goes to the 1921 and 1922.
Okay.
But he dies before 1923.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so he dies, I think before they do the New Market one. That's one of the reasons why they stopped doing them after 1924. Harding was a bit of a Civil War buff.
Uh-huh.
So they knew if they go to Civil War battlefields, he's going to come out and watch.
Right.
And he does. Coolidge was not a big history guy.
Okay.
So when Coolidge takes over as president following Harding's death, I don't think he went to either one in 1923 or 24. So you have less media attention. Also, it seems by 1924, the crisis has passed.
Okay.
So somebody asked me during one of the field programs I did, they said, well, did this work? I said, well,
we still have the Marines.
We still have the Marines, exactly.
Yeah.
So apparently it did, right? So,
right. So they, let's see. Okay, so they get up to Gettysburg, and what's interesting is, so at the time, Camp Colt still in existence,
no,
or
it's gone? It's gone.
Okay, but their encampment is over much of the ground that
pretty much
was Camp Colt or something.
Let's go to this next photo.
Okay. Next photo, Mikey B. Here we go. Here's an aerial shot.
Aerial shot.
Like
of the
I'm going to
camp.
put your, lift that up a bit. I'm going to put your, there we go.
Yep. And if you could lift that up just slightly, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
So we could
lift it up higher.
Up higher.
Come on.
Because
Mikey.
at the bottom of the photo is the smoking gun as to where the camp was.
In my defense, I have this here.
No, I understand.
Oh,
I understand.
Shut up. There's always an excuse with you. Okay. Raise it straight up.
But now we got it.
There you go. Okay.
There's the Virginia Monument.
There it is. Virginia Monument.
So we see the Virginia Monument. We see the camp. We see the tents being set up. That's the enlisted man's portion of the camp. And this is taken on the 26th as the Marines are arriving. And then if you come down a little bit, we'll see at the upper part of the photo some planes up at the upper left.
Upper left, yep, there you go.
And we also see vehicles coming into the frame from the top. There's like a convoy of vehicles.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. And I think it was the Gettysburg compiler mentioned this. They said that the Marines who were on foot marched up the Emmitsburg Road and then came up West Confederate Avenue and then began to set up the camp. The vehicles used the Emmitsburg Road and drove cross country.
Yeah, because you can see, so they're coming on a road here.
Right.
That comes over and then straight in.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But this is an
That's the
airstrip?
runway for the airplanes.
And what is this?
That's the
also?
second runway in case the wind shifts.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
All right. But the reason for using the Emmitsburg Road was to preserve the battlefield avenues.
Interesting.
So the theory was that with all this heavy equipment,
Yeah.
The Telfordizing
driving on
underneath
these
the road.
brand spanking new battlefield roads, they're going to tear up the roads.
Okay.
So, and for years I've been saying, oh, look how short-sighted we were. We weren't preserving the battlefield. We were just worried about the park avenues and such. But I think there is one other thing we have to bear in mind. All of that ground where these guys are camping, the War Department doesn't own yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is still privately owned.
Who owns it?
It's owned by a farmer by the name of Redding.
Okay.
And it's basically what was the Kadori farm at the time of the Civil War. So
Interesting.
what the War Department owned was essentially West Confederate Avenue. And then it was private property until you got to the Emmitsburg Road. And then once you got west of the Emmitsburg Road, the War Department had ownership up to Hancock Avenue. But there's this
once you got east of the Emmitsburg
east of the
Road,
Emmitsburg Road, excuse me. So you've got this intervening area that's still privately owned, and I think it's privately owned until the 1970s.
Wow.
And that's how you ended up with things in the 60s and 70s, like motels and gas stations and the infamous Stuckies being built along the Emmitsburg Road, because that was all private property.
Yeah, so it's funny because you're right. We look at it now and we go, oh man, how could they have done that and everything like that? But it wasn't. We have the luxury of preserving things now. I think, right? Yeah. Back then, the country still was growing.
Yeah,
and you still had to kind of. I don't know, build the goddamn thing. So I can see why, you had those hotels and gas stations and restaurants all up and down the Emmitsburg Road and all and Route 30 and stuff like that. Yeah. Makes total sense. The whole idea is after a while, when they become available for sale, buy them up. Yeah. Hand them over to the government and preserve them.
The original idea is we're going to preserve the battle lines.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the intervening ground between the lines. Yeah. And this is, it's going to take some time for that to happen.
That's interesting. So the field that we just looked at there, privately owned. So that means the Marines had to get permission from the owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So there's kind of a coordinated effort here between the War Department, the park commissioners, primarily Emmer Cope, who was, the chief engineer of the. But
it's not Park Service Park at that point.
No, it's not. It's the War Department.
Right.
And then also the private, landowners whose land is going to become part of this. This is all becoming, everybody's kind of working together here. And it takes several months to kind of set, things up. And you've got Marines coming in a month early to put in some infrastructure, runway.
Yeah, just constructing the airfield is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's right. So when this was Colt Park, because you always hear, well, the War Department ran Colt Park here because, they took care of everything. But at that time, was that still private property?
Part of Colt Park is private property. Part of it is
Camp Colt, not Colt Park.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
Camp Colt.
Yeah.
Part of it's on private property. Part of it is on ground that was owned by the federal government at that point. And I think a little bit of both.
I think that just has to do with the location of federal monuments.
Yeah.
Where it is on the battlefield.
No, I know. But until today, and I might have heard this, my brain is like Swiss cheese, so it's got holes in it and everything from all of the the
pizza
I used to eat. And so, no, I wanted to make a joke, but then I was like, well, I didn't really have a drug problem. But then
You had
the
a pizza
people who might have had a drug problem would be like,
right.
hey, man, that sucks. It's and so I was, I'm a little sensitive to that. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I don't remember things, but I don't remember ever hearing that wasn't all government property.
Yeah.
Like that it was part private, part government.
It's like you said, when we look at it today, we kind of look at it from today's perspective.
Yeah.
The government owns all of this ground, the 6,000 acres of land. But remember, when the War Department takes over in 1895, 2,000 acres. So there's 4,000 acres of additional land that has been acquired.
Wow.
Since this became a national park.
And yeah, and I guess that like you instead of working from today backwards, the way to look at it is really from the battle up to today. That obviously, right? Because that's history. That's how it works.
It's a work in progress,
right?
I mean, it really
yeah. I guess that's what I'm saying. Is like this park was a work in progress. Yeah. And oh man, I'll bet you there's some really good stories though between, maybe the people who own the Kodori farm and the government with land usage and all this stuff, because there's probably deals made, and then the government said, "F you, we're not listening to those deals."
I mean, there's all kinds of
they often do.
I wonder if they could. Again, I'm sure it's there, but if there's some kind of a wartime eminent domain where they could have just used the property for Camp Colt.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm sure they were paying the farmers some.
Oh yeah, probably.
But just like eminent domain, you give them the fair value to use it, but you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Let's pause real quick here. Mikey B just sent me a note, very important. He's got 4 super chats that we must read. Go ahead.
We got from Riding the Dutch Gal, Mike M, Matt G, and from Dustin Bailey. Thank you all for your donations. And there was a request from Mr. Gillespie to give Rich a Dan Butterfield.
Oh, here we
Should
go.
you feel so.
Dan Butterfield.
And thank you all. That money goes towards the pizza that we all enjoy.
That is true, from Antigua, Napoli. Delicious pizza place.
There we go.
Thank you. All right, so where were we? Okay, so let's get to, now we got to the Marines arriving, right? They camp out there by the Virginia Memorial.
Yep.
We've got the 5th and 6th Marine Regiments. 10th Artillery.
10th Artillery.
And then a whole bunch of other people, support and otherwise. Talk about some of these other
You
units.
have military police. You have a medical detachment. You have a veterinary medical detachment, because they brought 70 horses and 12 mules.
70 horses, 12.
Okay. You have the what they call the motor transport corps. These are the guys that are driving the trucks. Commissary.
700 vehicles, right?
700 plus vehicles, yes. Everything from bicycles to literally 3 tanks that they brought along to do the July the 4th reenactment. So you have the motor transport quartermaster, commissary, engineering units to put in infrastructure like the runway. They built 2 shower enclosures for the Marines while they were here. They had to run water lines from the Emmitsburg Road into the camp. There's the White House, which we're going to talk about here in a second, which was Harding's quarters. They had to build that. The VIP section of camp. So yeah, you've got all of this, going on, plus the aviation.
So how many planes did they have?
20 planes.
20 planes.
20 planes.
Okay.
Or excuse me, 18 planes, 2 balloons. So 20 aircraft total.
Okay, got it. 18 planes, 2 balloons. Now, you talk about the White House, and I know we're kind of maybe skipping ahead here, or maybe I don't know.
Well, let's go. I'll tell you what.
Tell us about the White House. You got, or what do you have in the photos next? Why don't we start with that?
Let's skip those 2 shots that we've got there. There's nothing really too significant in those. Let's go to that next picture there, because this one actually shows.
He's so demanding.
I am. I'm very demanding.
As a guest, I mean, Jesus, Rich.
Bad enough he has to listen to me.
This will be the last time I'm here. I'm sure. If we come up a little bit here again, I apologize for having to use these poster ones, but as I was explaining, I lost all the electronic stuff I had. Right there at the bottom, we see the semicircular pattern of large tents.
Yep.
That's the White House. That is Harding's quarters. It's 400 feet in length, 175 feet deep. It was 1 large tent in the center and then 3 smaller tents on either side. So this is quarters for Harding and his entourage. The other tents you see kind of stretching away from that, and kind of between the two tree lines there, that's West Confederate Avenue.
What are you talking?
Right there, that kind of light colored stretch you see between the two parallel tree lines right there.
That's West Confederate.
That's West Confederate Avenue.
Got it.
The White House was built roughly where the North Carolina Monument is today.
Ah,
Okay.
all right.
So up towards the area like where the Tennessee Monument is today
yeah.
is going to be the camp headquarters. So Smedley Butler has his headquarters up in that area.
Here, right.
You've got quarters for the various congressmen, United States senators. There's over 100 U.S. senators and congressmen who arrive here to
That's by
witness
the
this.
latrine.
Yep, exactly. You have the media section set up there. You have foreign dignitaries, ambassadors, military attaches. This is all in this portion of the camp.
Okay.
So
the important people over by North Carolina, and then the grunts down
are in front of Virginia.
In front of Virginia, basically,
Exactly.
is the way
Exactly.
to look at it. Okay.
Yep.
Now that smoke. Hold on, Mikey. Go back. Sorry. Don't mean to be
I think
debating.
it's a campfire.
That's a big campfire.
Well, you know what? There's another possibility.
Because there's two spots where there's smoke. There's right here.
We don't know how high those planes were.
I was going to ask if it's a cloud,
Could be clouds. It could be clouds.
but not this one. That's smoke.
that one, I suspect they're
Dick,
burning
Go down. Mike.
something. Okay.
Yeah, like a trash pit or something.
Maybe something along those lines. Because that's also the area in the camp where the engineering units are.
Oh,
So
all right.
it's possible it might have been disposing of something.
Yeah. All right.
It's possible.
All right, Mikey. Thank you.
Yep. So and this kind of elaborate a little bit further on the White House. And I was when I first read this, I thought, okay, this is the reporter from the Baltimore Sun exaggerating, for dramatic effect. Okay? But he mentions, first of all, that they've got again, telephone lines being run to the White House, electric lines being run to the White House, and bathtubs that are installed with hot and cold
Gotta have
running
a
water.
bath, yeah.
Got to have a bath. Yeah. And the reporter says that the porcelain tubs that they were going to bring from Quantico, that they decided that they wouldn't survive the rough roads and in the back of these fairly primitive trucks without damage. So they flew them here from Quantico. And I was like, you've got to be kidding.
Yeah, really.
I mean, is this legit? And they said, no, according to the reporter, they slung them under the planes and flew them here. And lo and behold, I found a picture, and it's the next picture there, of one of the planes here at Gettysburg, and look under the wings, and there's two bathtubs hanging under the plane.
Oh, my God.
Look at that.
Look at that.
There's one on each side.
Holy crap.
And if they ever invent time travel, I want to go to that pilot briefing.
Yeah.
When these guys are being told, okay, you're going to be flying from Quantico to Gettysburg, and you're going to be transporting bathtubs underneath the planes, and these are for the president, so make sure you don't scratch them. Okay,
Now,
so
boys, you got a special mission here.
exactly.
You're taking a bathtub to the president. That looks like a plane the Little Rascals would have built. How did that thing get in the air?
That's
Holy
those
crap.
are what are described as the huge planes. They're twin engine. They had 3 different types of aircraft they brought here, all biplanes. 15
sexuality
yeah,
isn't
15 of them
making
were single engine like Pursuit scout planes, and then the VE-7, which was by Voight, and then the DH-4 from de Havilland. Mike and I were talking about that earlier, and then these are the Martins, which are twin engine bombers. And that's what they're flying the bathtubs up here from Quantico.
So I was wondering. I'm glad you had a picture of that, because I was wondering, like you're like they strapped it in the bottom of the bottom of the plane, and I'm like,
How?
How did they? What did they just? I was picturing them like dangling, like it's a helicopter or something, but they didn't have a helicopter, so you had to land somehow.
Yeah. Eric W. in the chat said,
Eric W.
They're the original bath bombs.
There you go.
That's a good one. You know what? I'm going to give him a Dan Butterfield for that one, because that's
Dan Butterfield.
love a good dad joke.
There you go.
All right. So they all get in there. The president's got his White House. They've got hot and cold running water to the White House. Not to the whole camp, right?
Just the White House.
Just the White
Now,
House.
apparently, they did into the showers.
Okay, good.
But as far as cooking and such,
But it's
they're
summer.
bringing water tanks up and they're you know, that sort of thing.
Summer, though. Like, do you need hot water in the summer? For a shower? I'm going to take a cold shower sitting out there all day. Are you kidding me?
Always want a hot shower.
Oh, not when you're like heated down to the bone marrow.
Yeah, but you're taking a shower. These guys are sitting in a tub.
No. The president's sitting in a tub.
Oh, you're talking about
The
guy.
boys are in a shower.
shower.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Now the 26th, the first reenactment's going to be when?
Well, they're going to add one.
Okay.
So the original plan was they're going to do a reenactment on the 3rd and the 4th.
Right.
Then they get word that Harding is going back to Ohio for July the 4th. So he's only going to be here on the 1st. He's going to come in on the 1st and leave on the morning of the 2nd. So they add another reenactment because of Harding's presence. And of course, you're going to have media here and that sort of thing.
Right.
So they referred to the July the 1st reenactment as the dress rehearsal of Pickett's charge.
Okay.
Okay. So
So he gets to watch them. Okay.
he gets to watch.
So, but from the 26th to the 1st, what are they doing?
They're doing a lot, actually. They're pretty busy. First of all, they are doing some maneuvers. 2 maneuvers that they did. One was, kind of a simulated attack on a position which happened in the Oak Ridge, Oak Hill area.
Okay.
And then they did a large scale maneuver with almost the entire contingent that was present here at Gettysburg, where they were attacking and here we actually have both an attacking and defending force. And they set up 1 battalion of Marines on Her Ridge.
Okay.
And extending to what they call the Fair Play Schoolhouse, which still exists. It's a private residence on the Fairfield Road.
Okay.
And so this is a position probably, I don't know, maybe a mile or so where you had Marines positioned out there as defending forces. And then we had 2 battalions attacking that and another battalion in reserve ready to exploit a breakthrough. And you've got the planes flying overhead and, they're relaying positions on the ground and they're experimenting with ground-to-air communication with radios in the planes, talking to people on the ground. So this is a big maneuver that they do, I think, on June the 29th. In between these 2 maneuvers, every Marine in camp gets a battlefield tour with a licensed battlefield guide.
Wow.
They were taking them out 20 guys at a time in trucks and taking them around the field. You also had practice where they're practicing, Civil War formations and so they're doing some dry runs, usually with small units of what your job is going to be or what your role will be in the reenactment of Pickett's charge. So these things are all happening during that period through June the 30th.
So is the public watching this, or are they just aware that it's going on?
Public, it was promoted heavily. The Gettysburg Chamber of Commerce and the Chambersburg Chamber of Commerce took out ads in newspapers as far west as Chicago, as far north as Boston.
Oh, okay.
Come to Gettysburg. But they're saying come to Gettysburg July 3rd and 4th.
Right, not for this part.
Right. When the word gets out that Harding's coming on the 1st, then a lot of people start coming in on the 1st. So really from the 1st through the 4th is when we're seeing, really fairly large visitation for that time period. Some of the newspaper estimates are as many as 100,000 people
Okay.
came to Gettysburg.
That's pretty good.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
The logistics of that must have been something else. Well, you said I heard you say previously they changed the 2-way roads to one way.
Yeah,
So
changed the 2-way roads to one way. Set up, overflow parking areas.
Brought in extra cops, totaling 12.
Brought 12 extra state police to help with traffic control.
Yeah. 12.
12.
But that's the thing. Like today, I mean, with all the improvements we've had in roads since 1922.
Yeah.
When it's busy, it ain't much better than it must have been in 2022, right?
And I think one thing that gets overlooked in this, but you see it really being mentioned, especially in the local newspapers, the Gettysburg papers. This is the first event on this battlefield of a large scale where people are driving to Gettysburg. When people came here in 1913 for the 50th anniversary reunion and encampment, they came by train.
Right.
But by 1922, just about everybody owns a car.
Yeah.
Thank you, Henry Ford. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So for the first time, you're getting thousands upon thousands of vehicles descending on Gettysburg, right?
Plus in addition to the old ways, train, horse, I'm sure.
So there's,
It's just, they're different. I mean, imagine it's like, all right, we got 100,000 people. How many officers do we need to send over?
Right.
I think 12.
12 should do the
two
trick.
motorcycle, and what was the rest of them?
The other guys are on horseback.
Horseback,
Yeah, we will handle it. It's like, everybody has a car now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, forget it. We'll chase after him with a horse.
Right.
Well, the horse might have been faster back then, right?
It
What was
probably
the top speed of the
A
cars?
Model T, probably about 25 miles per hour.
Yeah, horse goes 40, so...
And there's a great article here. It's one of the local newspapers. I can't remember which one it is. And there was a guy who lived on the Lincoln Highway, west of town. His name is G.D. Thomas, who on July the 2nd sat on his front porch from 5:30 in the morning till 7:30 in the evening and counted the number of vehicles driving into Gettysburg.
Wow.
And he said that passing his home were 1,892 passenger cars, 141 motorcycles.
What? Really?
Yeah, this is the first bike week.
Oh, my God.
I could see Rich's predecessor, like with the goggles on.
Yeah.
Right. 16 passenger trucks, which I'm guessing are buses.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. 12 commercial trucks, 4 horse-drawn vehicles.
Wow.
Only 4?
Only 4.
Huh. So I didn't realize that automobiles were that ubiquitous.
See,
at that
they
point.
become very affordable once the Model T
that old Model
hits
T.
the market, and then other manufacturers like Chevrolet and such are they want to compete with it. So you're starting to see affordable automobiles coming onto the scene at this point.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
that?
and then of course they say, well, that's just one road.
How many meter maids did they have?
Not enough. Okay, how are they? How many are coming in on the York Road? How many are coming up the Emmitsburg Road, the Fairfield Road?
Right.
So I think the newspapers came to the conclusion that you had, between 60 and 75,000 people, and the number of automobiles in town on July the 2nd was probably 8,000 automobiles.
Wow. Holy crap. Yeah. Maybe that's not much different than today.
There are probably days when we've been close to that.
Yeah. Or more. I mean, I'm sure there's been days where we've had more.
I mean, I live west of town on 30. It seems like that many cars go past
day.
So.
Just logistically, it's interesting because they probably were parking almost anywhere. It's not like they have parking regulations.
They had designated parking areas on the field.
There you go. That's the answer.
Some of which we still use today.
And they probably were more comfortable walking than we are. They don't need to park right in front of a monument. Park somewhere and then
So the 2 parking areas that really stood out to me, and I was like, hey, we still park cars there when we don't know where else to put them. One is the field opposite Meade's headquarters.
Uh-huh.
So basically there where Hunt Avenue intersects
the
Tawnytown Road.
Right.
That field. That's kind of the overflow lot for the visitor center today. Well, that's one of the places where they were parking cars.
Interesting.
And the other one that they used was what eventually becomes the site of the Home Sweet Home Motel.
Okay.
Down at Long Lane and
which is now a field again. That's been reclaimed.
A field again. That's been reclaimed.
Yes.
Right. But they were parking vehicles there, and then there's a couple other places they mentioned that they were parking cars. So this is the first time they have to worry about traffic control on the battlefield.
And that's where the Gettysburg meter maid was born.
That's where the meter maid is born.
Yeah, they're like, wait a second.
We can
this is too easy for people.
We can charge these people.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently, some of the fields that were privately owned, they were charging 50 cents a car to park.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Which isn't,
But you know what? That's going to what's wear and tear on your field.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Come on, there's nothing wrong with 50 cents. But you had said something in that talk I watched you give, and you said that you would read somewhere that somebody claimed that they were charging, some places were charging $5.
Yeah, and that appears
is
to be an exaggeration.
Ridiculous
Yeah.
for 1922
right,
money.
that was an exaggeration. That was not happening.
Because it's like $5 for parking today.
50 cents is $10.
$10. Okay.
Well, that's not out of line. Okay.
So that's about the same as it is
Five
today.
would have been $100.
Five would have been what?
$5 back then would have been $100.
Oh yeah,
$100
yeah.
today. Okay.
So right. So then that's about the same it is today. You go parking somewhere, you're paying $5 to $15, $20, something like that.
It's in line.
Yeah.
It's in line.
Yeah. All right. So
Let me just mention, since we were talking about the hoarding and the VIP section, let me just there's a couple pictures I wanted to show here.
Yeah, since you don't have to do any of the work.
I know. And this is just fascinating to me. This is right after Harding arrives. He's in the photo. He's to the right with the straw hat on.
this guy.
That guy, right? The guy to his right is the governor of Virginia,
What's his name?
Elbert Lee Trinkle.
Trinkle. Bet he was made fun of in school.
I'm sure he was.
Hey, Tinkle.
Exactly. Okay. And then that's Pershing.
Oh, yeah.
Blackjack Pershing. That's the governor of Pennsylvania, Sproul. Wendell Neville, Marine Corps general who becomes commandant after Lejeune.
Oh, how about this guy?
I think that's Senator Claude Pepper from Pennsylvania.
And this fella?
That is Charles Dawes, who becomes vice president under Coolidge.
Yeah.
He was Pershing's chief quartermaster during World War I.
Interesting.
He's in charge of the Office of Management and Budget in the Harding administration. And he's the grandson of Rufus Dawes, who commands the 6th Wisconsin here at Gettysburg.
And I recently spent a couple days with his somewhat, somehow descendant. What the hell? I forgot his name. Schultz is his last name.
Okay.
Why am I drawing a blank on his first name?
And then in the back, between Pershing and Sproul, kind of looking off to the side, that's Smedley Butler.
Bill Schultz. William Dawes Schultz
Okay.
is his name. He's a political commentator, writer, things like that. Writes for the New Yorker or something like that. And he used to be on a show called Red Eye. But he was here during the anniversary, and he spoke at the Seminary Ridge Museum.
Okay.
About his ancestors. And this guy was a songwriter?
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
I forget the name of the song.
Oh, shoot. He wrote the melody, and then it was a piano, and then it's recorded. The melody's adapted. Oh, I cannot remember the name.
I know. What is it? Horse with no name. That's what it is.
Hate that.
Or Blitzkrieg Bop or something. I don't know. I forget which one.
Horse with no name.
Okay.
Ah, shit.
I got another picture here for you, Mike. So again, this is
Pay attention, Mike.
okay.
God, that is.
All right. This is some of the military attachés. 2/3 of the Axis powers are in that picture. Okay?
Yeah, look at that.
We got Japanese in the front.
Okay, here they are.
Yep.
Three
And
Japanese.
then I believe the guys kind of back towards the third tent is the Italian delegation. Back there.
Giuseppe back here.
Yep.
Okay. French?
There was French, there was
It looks
Venezuelan.
like Hitler right there, that guy.
There was Romanian, there were Hungarians. So you had a number of countries that had, military.
Now, are they
Attaché.
invited here by the Marine Corps for this specific event?
Because
or
they're diplomatic.
so they're like already at their
They're already-
consulate or
they're
their
in
embassy.
DC,
or
exactly,
something, right, okay.
exactly.
So they didn't come all the way from their countries.
But the guy in the white,
Yes.
the Japanese officer in the white uniform,
Yep.
I believe is Osamu Nagano, who becomes Yamamoto's chief of staff.
No kidding.
Yep.
No kidding.
So, and
Dirty
one of
bastards.
the American naval attachés that was here was Captain William Halsey.
Admiral Halsey
Bull Halsey.
notified me he
so-
had to have a birthday.
So I
Couldn't
have
get to
this
see
mental
me.
image that here's Nagano and Halsey
Yeah.
talking to one another, observing the Marines here in 1922.
Right.
And 20 years later,
It's funny how that works.
I mean, it's
But it is, right? Like, as long
Well,
as your countries are getting
we're
along,
all allies
you get
at this
along.
point, right?
Yeah. And then when your countries are at war, you want to kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
People are stupid. Okay, so okay, let me do this here real quick. Mikey, can you do me a favor? I'm out of water. I need water so bad. I'm going to adjust your microphone so that you can.
And you say I'm demanding?
I know.
Are you serious?
Get me it now, Michael. Now. Thank you.
This is a well-oiled machine. I can say that.
You're right about that.
What did you say about? Tell everybody what he said about.
When he said Fat Matt was better because you weren't such an ass.
Here, I'm gonna fix this for you. So that
sure.
You can, okay,
Yeah.
watch what
Go ahead.
because it also hangs. You can
No, but
also
this-
make it hang.
It doesn't help. Now I can't
Sure.
hold the photo.
No, sure you can. Sure you can, Mikey.
It was.
Well, you can adjust it. Daddy doesn't need to always
what
adjust
was
it
wrong
for
with
you.
it? There was nothing wrong with it.
Because now you'll be able to. You can adjust it a little higher if you'd like to. I don't know. Well, I'll show you when the next picture comes up. All right, Rich,
Okay,
go ahead.
Until we get to the next picture, so you can take a deep breath here. Okay.
Serenity now. Oh yeah, thanks. Did you look that? Oh, look, he didn't even put the lid back on. I love that.
That would have been really bad.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, Michael. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Tim.
So let's talk about the aviation again. Let's go back to the aviation section. And,
All right.
Mike and I were talking about this earlier. He was talking about doing some research on, pilot, I guess, Army Air Corps pilots, killed in World War I, right after the First World War in England, that sort of thing. Flying is an extraordinarily dangerous business at this time.
Yeah.
And
It looks it.
and yeah, I mean, you look at the aircraft,
Yeah.
and it's like you said, this is like
Little rascals built it.
something that somebody slapped together in their backyard. Okay,
Yeah.
there's 3 accidents on June the 26th when the Marines are arriving here in Gettysburg. There's 3 airplanes that have incidents.
3.
3.
Oh, I only knew of one.
Well, the one that everybody knows about is the fatal accident, and that's Captain George Hamilton, who was a highly decorated Marine infantry officer from the First World War, who then transfers to aviation after the war. He crashes somewhere in what is now Colt Park.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Probably Court's
Possibly
house
Court's
that
backyard.
he just bought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Start to
See if you're flying plane
time
parts.
to metal detect the backyard. Okay, see what's back there. We know that he crashed close to a carnival that came to town to try to take advantage of the fact that a lot of people are going to be
yeah.
here. And the carnival set up along Steinway Avenue, roughly where the Heritage Center and
Okay.
McDonald's and Friendly's are today.
Okay.
And supposedly, as Hamilton realizes he's in trouble, and he puts the plane into a dive and realizes he can't pull it out, he steers away from the carnival before he hits the ground.
Oh, that was nice.
And he's killed instantly. And then his observer, Gunnery Sergeant by the name of William Martin, is mortally injured, and he dies probably within the hour.
So this is the 2-seater plane?
Yeah, 2-seater plane, exactly. Nicknamed the Flying Coffin.
Aptly.
Apparently they were tough to fly, and
Yeah.
there was a design flaw, which actually didn't play into the accident, which is the gas tank was between the pilot and the observer.
That did not play into the accident.
That did not
though.
play into that. There was
Yeah,
no fire.
no fire.
It was just the impact that killed these guys.
What was the cause of it?
According to the Board of Inquiry that the Marines convened, pilot error. They said that he misread his altimeter. Because the altimeter gave you a reading above sea level. He thinks he's at 1,000 feet when he puts the plane into a dive. He's actually 400 feet above ground level here in Gettysburg. Doesn't have time to pull back out.
Now, do you have to adjust altimeter when you move?
I
to,
have no
like,
idea how
Mike,
the altimeters on these things worked.
I mean, everything nowadays is automated.
Right, but back in those days, that's when you were in the Air Force, right?
Yes.
In the 20s?
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, every pilot has to do a lot of manual adjustments during this time frame. And
Well,
a
these
lot of the
guys-
accidents you have are those.
Right.
Right. If he's in a place he's not been, if he's just arriving there, or he was actually already there, right? He was there.
No,
a few
they're
days
just coming
before.
in. They're just coming in.
But didn't you say his plane had something?
That happened down in Frederick.
Okay, so yeah, so he's
Yeah.
so he's just arriving.
Yeah.
It's just a calculation error, a brain fart.
These
and-
guys fly out of Quantico, which is sea level.
Yep.
So maybe they're not adjusting the altimeter for, Gettysburg's not sea level. Gettysburg's higher, right?
But if he's using his altimeter to fly, it's either at night or it's low visibility.
Right.
He's relying on that to make a decision. So he was
Yeah.
using his instruments and just miscalculating.
Maybe he had a stowaway in one of the bathtubs. And
Maybe
and
that's a possibility.
he
But I
couldn't
mean,
compensate because he didn't know the weight was
So
there.
Rich was saying, I've been doing a lot of studying about U.S. Airmen, where I did my studies in Lincoln, and just the high casualty number. And when I say casualty, I mean just accident number.
Yeah.
38% of all those training flights, 1916 and 1918, out of Waddington, were an accident.
Yeah.
38.
Well,
That doesn't
those
mean the fatalities were the fatalities were still very high, but it's a new piece of equipment that they're using for
Yeah.
not its original intention. They're learning as they go. The guys that are working on them are all car mechanics who aren't really sure exactly how they're working, but they know the engines work.
Right.
They create a new plane. How do you test it? You take off with it.
Well, and that's
Sometimes
the
wind
thing
falls.
is, like you said, like they're using them in ways that they weren't intended for, but they're basically creating a new use for it
Yep.
on the fly,
Learning as
almost.
they go.
Yeah.
And it's not just the pilots; it's
Ground
the people.
crews.
Everybody.
Yeah, all this.
How do we support these machines
Yeah.
so that they can continue to fight? And what do we do? And what jobs?
Well, the
do
one
we
you
need?
told me about is just the most amazing one of all.
Yeah, it's right here. It's a second lieutenant, an English second lieutenant. 22 October 1917. Engine fell out in flight.
Oh.
So that's a pilot who is in. Think of the horror of that, and then the people that worked on the plane thinking, "Did I not screw everything in right?"
Yeah. Oh,
Like it's just
can you imagine?
yeah. So it's difficult all around.
Oh my God.
But, and this brings us back to the alternative theory of what happens to Hamilton. His plane, according to the Baltimore Sun, had to make an emergency landing at the Frederick Fairgrounds, which is one of the places where they camped, a couple days prior to them, arriving here at Gettysburg, when a part fell off the plane. Now, they don't specify what part fell off the plane. And they said, well, they could fix it, and he got back in the air. Was there a mechanical issue? The Marines are really going to emphasize how well the aviation section performed here. I'm not saying they're covering it up intentionally,
Right.
but, well, one of my friends who's a pilot says that anytime a pilot dies in an accident, it's pilot error. Okay, so that's, it's the easiest,
Right, of
thing to
course.
blame it on,
Yeah.
okay? But who knows? Who knows what happened?
Was it a cloudy day? Was it a bright sunny
Apparently
day?
it was a bright sunny day. I mean, this is witnessed by the Marines going into camp. These guys are watching these, because the planes are coming in. And
Yeah.
they're watching, he's leading a flight of 3 other aircraft. And they're like, oh, look, he's doing aerobatics. And all of a sudden, boom, into the ground.
That must have sucked. So he's in Arlington.
He's buried in this is how this whole thing started for me.
Okay, go.
I was working on another project with Bobby Hoosh. I don't know if you know Bobby.
I know the name.
Okay, Bobby's a battlefield guide. Had a website at that time, it was a very active website at that time, which is kind of dormant now, called Gettysburg Daily.
Oh yeah,
Every day he was putting
That's
something
how I know that
Gettysburg
name.
related on there.
yeah.
Great website.
And we were doing we did a whole series on, we called it Gettysburg at Arlington, of different burials at Arlington and that sort of thing, Abner Doubleday and, various guys like that. And I think it was Bobby is the one that discovered Hamilton's grave. And it's the only grave in Arlington that says killed at Gettysburg. June the 26th, 1922. And you're like, what? How did this happen? What, researching him is what kind of led me down this rabbit hole of, researching this whole event.
So you wanted to know why he was killed at Gettysburg
What is this guy doing in Gettysburg?
in 1922? What's the significance of that?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? To this day, if I were to, if I get killed at Gettysburg, I'm putting that on my tombstone.
There you go.
You know, okay?
Died at Gettysburg.
2026.
It's
Yeah.
even so
Exactly.
much that, and it's not like anyone's life is worth more than someone else's, but he's a famous Marine.
He was
He's
a
in
famous
that.
Marine.
He's in that painting, right? He's
The last
focal
night of the
point.
war. Yep. It's a famous painting, shows the Marines crossing the Meuse River?
Yeah,
Moselle
Meuse River.
Yeah. And
November 10.
he's kind of it's
Oh, yeah.
right before the armistice, and he's right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
He's a major. He commanded a battalion of infantry. He's got his hat. He's got his hand on his helmet,
Yeah.
and so this is a well-known guy, Distinguished Service Cross, as an infantry officer. So this was not just some guy who just joined the Corps.
Hollywood actor.
Medal of
Hollywood
Honor,
actor
Medal of
with a-
Honor winner.
Hollywood actor with a great tan. Absolutely. Exactly. George Hamilton. The Marine
One of the
with
best
the
tans
Marine
you've
with
ever
the best tan in the entire Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk to Rich here before we move along, or even after we move along, 717-420-1978 is the phone number. Also, $10 or more super chats get read on the air. Thank you, Mike, for the gift. Okay, so all right, let's get to.
We got 2 more planes to crash.
Damn it! Okay, crash those other 2 planes.
We'll crash the other 2 planes. One of them, and there's no injuries in either one of these. One of them was the result of a hard landing in the wheat field.
Ooh, in the wheat field.
In the wheat, we've all been to the wheat field.
Yes.
There is no good place to land an aircraft
Hell no.
anywhere in the wheat field.
I mean, I'm no aviator,
but
but
I would find someplace else to put the plane.
yeah.
What the circumstances are, again, that's all it says in the newspaper account.
Okay.
The plane suffered a hard landing in the wheat field. They brought it back to camp.
Now, why
Patched
was
back
it
together?
But
No idea.
okay, no fatality.
No fatality.
Why was it why was it landing in the wheat
I'm guessing
field?
they had a problem and they had to put
So
it
they
down.
just had to put it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third one was one of the big twin engine planes that hauled the bathtubs up here. That crashed in York Springs,
Okay.
15 miles north of Gettysburg, when they ran out of fuel.
Oh.
And they had to do an emergency landing in a field, and there was a ditch that they didn't see until they were on the ground, and one of the wheels caught the ditch and flipped the plane over.
Ooh. Were they leaving Gettysburg or were they
It
coming?
happens on the 26th, so this all happens on the same day.
so
day
so
they're
did they,
arriving here.
They overshot or something?
I
or?
think it seems as though the aircraft are being sent out to do like simulated scouting runs and things like that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
unless this guy again had a navigational issue and he ends up 15 miles off course and and that's why he runs out of fuel. Who
Yeah.
knows? But
You know, it's interesting. You just reminded me of when a couple of years ago, I don't remember which one. It was 82nd Airborne or 101st.
the guys that ended up in the trees.
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember a bunch of us, what is that neighborhood where the vet is, right?
It's behind the West Confederate Avenue, kind of on the west side.
It's on the west
I
side
forget
of
what
the
they call that, but
that neighborhood back there, right? So
Yeah.
a bunch of us had driven our cars to like the Brown farm.
yes.
Okay. So to the gates, I guess, of the Brown farm. And we're sitting there watching, and there's a cop there and everything. And we're just staring at this kid hanging from a parachute
Yeah,
in the tree, waiting for help to come and get him.
He looked like Red Buttons in The Longest Day. He's like, it's like hanging off a steeple at St. Mary Glees. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I felt bad for them because there were like 4 or 5 of them.
There was a bunch of these guys landed in the trees.
The
there.
wind just took them.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
supposed to land in the field.
Yeah, this is
And we had all that rain, and when they came with the
one
fire
of the fire
department,
trucks got bogged. One of the fire trucks got
yes.
bogged
the
down.
tires got stuck
Yep.
and went right through those Confederate entrenchments that were there, and just and I'm like, oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, and that's interesting because it shows us we're still doing military maneuvers
Yeah.
on this battlefield.
Well, and
to some extent, right? So,
as,
we
as
still
far
see-
as I know, like a civilian craft, is that true? We can't fly over the battlefild? Civilian craft?
below a certain level.
Below a
there's
certain
ceiling.
level.
I think
Yeah.
it's 500 feet or 1,000
Okay.
feet or something like that.
But I do see all different types of military aircraft.
The A-10s from Harrisburg always.
Always
fly.
Love when the
It's
Warthogs
awesome.
come over.
Yeah.
The Warthogs
And
come
you
over.
you hear those things for miles. I remember when we had Gettysburg and our location was down in the bus lot there, and I would hear them coming.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd run out there like a little kid with the ice cream man. Like I just couldn't wait to see them fly over, and they
They look like they're
feel-
having fun up there.
Oh my
They're-
God, they do. Yeah.
Well, and imagine, okay, that's
And
your
the
reaction.
Ospreys.
That's your reaction today.
Right.
Imagine people here in 1922.
Oh, it had to be more exciting.
How many planes came over Gettysburg prior to this event?
Probably not a lot.
Probably not very many,
Yeah.
right? And so, I mean, this has had to be a big deal, seeing aircraft and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, this must have been very exciting for the locals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so
Okay.
we have.
You want to get to the reenactment? don't
Well,
you?
I
Again,
want to get to bed.
that is okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Let's talk about the reenactment,
Yes.
then, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. So they had the one on the first, the dress rehearsal, and that and the third are going to be Civil War reenactments, with the Marines now having been taught. Okay, this is how you maneuver in linear formations. they're going to put the artillery. The newspaper accounts describe the artillery as being between the guns on West Confederate Avenue.
Okay.
So they're actually rolling this modern artillery, 75 millimeter cannon, World War I era guns, into position where Confederate artillery would have been. There's the preliminary barrage, and then there's the infantry assault. And
I
ahead.
was going to ask, do you have the artillery picture of the?
I've got one from July the 4th, but not. Yeah, we're going to show
Okay,
that.
we'll get to that.
But
then.
yeah, so this is probably July the 3rd.
This is cool.
There's the Kadori farm in the background.
Yeah.
With notice one of the Marines has stopped to read the monument to the 106 Pennsylvania Infantry in the middle.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Is he talking this guy right here?
that guy right there, standing there reading. Goes, what is this?
Hey, I know that guy's name. That's my uncle.
Okay, right.
Okay, so let's see. This is interesting.
First of all, we have guys simulating casualties.
Uh-huh.
Anybody that was going to be a casualty, they gave them a bandage that was dyed with beet juice.
Oh.
So it would be the proper color.
Okay.
And then when they took a hit, then they would put the bandage on, and you'll see guys with bandages on their arms and head and legs and what have you. They've got a blanket roll kind of slung over their shoulders, and they took the campaign hats and kind of manipulated them to look like the slouch hats that would have been worn during the Civil War.
They put that little crease in there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You can see his too.
They also have fixed bayonets.
Yeah.
Which is
not
amazing.
allowed to do that today on
No.
the battlefield.
And they taught these guys how to simulate muzzle loading with their 03 Springfield.
Uh-huh.
So I've seen one picture where a guy is actually using his bayonet as a ramrod, and he's got the bayonet and he's jamming it into the gun barrel.
Is that in your collection here today?
Not today, unfortunately. Yeah.
Now, so when you say this is July 3rd, is this the Pickett's Charge reenactment
This is the
with
Pickett's Charge
those tactics or Civil War reenactment?
Right,
okay.
that's the Civil War reenactment.
This is the Civil War one.
Yeah.
Now, what's also interesting here is the road itself. Would you say, because today the road is, for the most part, there's parts where the ground is higher than the road, but for the most part, the road is pretty much level with the ground on either side of it. Now, they say that during the actual battle, it was almost like a trench. It was, it was lower down, sunken.
Road, right.
How close do you think it was closer to this, or is this closer to the way the road is today?
I think that's pretty much the way it is today.
Yeah. Okay. So this is
and
built
actually,
up
all
from
the photos that are taken. There's a bunch of photos taken on July the 3rd and July the 4th along the Emmitsburg Road.
Mm-hmm.
The road doesn't look that much different as far as
No, that's what I was thinking before
of what we see today.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So then this next picture shows the actual attack as they're approaching the angle.
All right. So now this one here. This is a good one.
Okay. Now, there's a couple things I want to mention here. First of all, we see two separate little puffs of smoke.
Yes.
Every 10th Marine was issued a 12-gauge shotgun.
The three. I see one, two,
Right.
three.
Every 10th guy was given a 12-gauge shotgun
Okay.
with blank rounds.
All right.
And when they got to points where they were supposed to take simulated hits from artillery fire, they would fire the shotgun to create that cloud of smoke.
Oh.
And if you look close, I think it's the one to the left of the flag. The guys around them are all falling.
Yeah.
So they're kind of simulating casualties with these 12-gauge shotguns to generate little puffs of smoke when guys are going to take hits, okay?
Yeah. Now, this is a really interesting one. So you can see the spires of the Kadori barn, right? Which is weird. They kind of look different. When did that barn burn down?
1880s. So
So this is the barn that we have
today. Yeah.
They just look taller. I don't know. Okay. Garnet.
Yeah, each brigade that would have been involved in Pickett's charge to simulate the movements of those brigades, the Marines were given banners. And the banners, I think, were 3 feet high by 12 feet wide. So there's the banner for Garnett's brigade. Armistead's is, when you really blow that thing up, you can just make out Armistead's down towards the Emmitsburg Road. But then they also, every brigade had a brigade banner.
Oh, like he's back this way still?
Yeah, he's back down
Okay.
there. He hasn't come up yet.
Now this is something I find very interesting. I'm sure some of you with the keener eyes in the audience have already pointed this out. Actually, let's go to the back. Court, what are we looking at here? Anything jump out at you, Courtney? Courtney is examining the photograph, looking to see if anything jumps out at him. We're gonna see if he's got a clue. Any day now, whenever he's ready.
Well, this is my first chance to really look at it up close.
All right. First time he's looking at it up close. What jumps out at you? Just start yelling out
let's go
something.
this way.
They're using a signal flag.
There you go.
Oh, that's what I'm
There
looking
we
for.
go.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you,
What
Courtney.
does that flag say to the left?
We just
Oh,
said
we
That's
that.
just
the Garnet
see. All
Battle.
right. I knew you were sleeping. Damn it, Court.
Wait, what's
Garnet. It says Garnet. The brigades were okay. Now we moved on. Now the signal flag.
Signal
now,
flag.
This is my favorite one here, and I want to let it hang. We're gonna go ahead. Tell
Okay.
us what it is, and then just
First of all,
silence.
what don't you see?
Well, I don't see a Confederate battle flag.
Correct. And the reason is it is illegal for United States Army military personnel of any branch of the service to, even performing some sort of a recreation, a historical recreation, to use the flag of an enemy force like the Confederate States of America. Okay, so they substituted signal flags to represent the regimental battle flag.
So I just find that so fascinating.
I know we're arguing about this today. It's like,
it's-
Confederate veterans, or
Yeah.
veterans of the United States. No, they weren't. They
But-
were
but I-
fighting the United States Army.
I've been in conversations. I remember my grandfather, we saw one on somebody's house down in Virginia, and he told me that as a man who went over to Europe and fought the Nazis, he doesn't like seeing the flag of any of the enemies of a United States soldier because he was one.
Yeah.
And if he was a United States soldier during the Civil War, that flag and the men under it would have been trying to kill him. And he wouldn't have appreciated that then because I don't want to see a German flag or a Japanese flag.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
So it is interesting.
Yeah.
That's how the military views that.
Yeah.
In
Well,
1922, I said, okay, this is an enemy flag. So we
Yes.
can't,
So
we
beautiful.
can't use this during this reenactment.
And I've heard many, and I've been in many conversations at reenactments or with reenactors, and this is, something like they'll say, well, we do this because it's history. Okay. I understand that.
Sure.
I do understand that. What are we talking about today? They were doing history. They were making history and doing history, but because they're United States military, they have to follow those rules.
Yep.
And
Had to follow that protocol.
pesky little rule
Yep.
of you shouldn't fly the flag of your enemy,
Yep.
your country's enemies.
Yes.
And I kind of like that rule,
It's
even as a civilian.
It is interesting
Yeah.
because again, a lot of times it isn't viewed that way.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Okay. Now we lost half of our listeners.
Yes, we did.
All right,
Yeah,
but
once
that's fine.
Once again,
I'd rather
people always
lose-
accuse me when I'm on here of being too hard on the South. It's gonna
I,
happen
well, you
again.
know what? I'm sorry, but spoiler alert, you lost the war.
There you go.
Okay?
Okay.
Jesus, we couldn't make fun of you while you
Incidentally,
guys were still
They
alive.
also lost this reenactment.
So now, this is the interesting thing about the reenactment. Yeah. Here's the wonderful.
Why isn't Mikey clapping?
Mikey is a Southern sympathizer. All right, here's the interesting.
A belated clap.
It's the interesting thing about the reenactment, though. The first one is with Civil War tactics.
Right.
So a couple days beforehand, they had to learn Civil War.
They're out there practicing.
Right.
They're marching in formation. They're, again, small unit. Typically, it seems like when they're doing the practice sessions, it's a company that's doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, and a full strength company at this time would be about 80 guys.
80. So there's a total of 6,000. The 5th
Yep.
and 6th Marine regiments total about how much of that?
Well, the total number of actual combat personnel
Okay.
is about 3,500.
3,500. Okay.
Yeah, so probably, I would say probably each one of these 5th and 6th Marines is probably Probably close to 1,600 guys.
Is that about how many men did Pickett lose?
Pickett himself, I don't.
Pickett's division. How many did they lose?
There's so many different
Could you
figures
Google
get
that?
tossed
Mike?
around.
Can you Google that?
It's like
Google
60%, I think, or something.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
know.
So it's like, what,
All right. Anyway, well, let's find out the number and then
Elena Booker? You want me to use Google?
Google. Use Google. Use Google or ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT.
Jesus.
All right, listen. Okay, what was that? So now they're doing the Civil War reenactment, or what do they call it? Recreation?
recreation.
Right. So they're doing the recreation. That the next day, and both times there's nobody defending except for those
Except for
two
the two guys from the 12th New Jersey.
12th New Jersey guys, which I think is cool. They're not firing live rounds,
No, they're firing blanks.
but they're taught to simulate using the ramrod.
Right.
And you like you said, but you don't have it with you. That you have a picture of a guy using his
Bayonet
as the ramrod.
Yeah.
So the next. So what do they find? Were they able to? These are Marines now.
Yeah, they get up. They
they
they follow the script, so to speak. Okay, they break through at the angle, and then they get to about where Cushing's guns are, and they get stopped. Okay, and then there was a Marine officer, a major by the name of William Upshur, I think his name is. He's portraying Armistead. He was on horseback, so they didn't get that 100% correct. They probably looked at the cyclorama and said, "Hey, this guy's on horseback."
All right.
and he does come over the wall on foot, and then he takes a hit, somewhere around Cushing's guns, and that kind of ends the Civil War reenactment.
Are they using their modern artillery for? I know they were for the bombardment.
Yeah,
are they using it on the Union side, or is there nothing on the Union
There's
side?
conflicting reports.
Oh.
Okay. One newspaper article says all 24 guns are over on Seminary Ridge, but one article said that there were 2 guns on Little Round Top.
Okay.
Now, again, who knows? Okay. Till they invent time travel, we're not going to nail this one down. Right?
Right. Unless like some picture comes
Shows
up with
exactly,
like
of 2 guns on Little Round
smoke
Top
on Little
or
Round
something
Top.
like
Yeah.
that. Right.
All right. So they do that. How many spectators are watching this?
Again, who knows?
We don't know.
You're looking at probably 50, 60,000 spectators over a 4-day period.
Right.
So
We have no idea.
You might have 15, 20, 25,000 people.
What does President Harding think?
Harding loved it.
Loved
It
it.
was fantastic. It was well received by everybody. The only person that gets upset is M.R. Cope, who was, again, one of the park commissioners. He's the last park commissioner who was a veteran of the battle. He was an engineering, actually an enlisted man that's signed to Meade's headquarters. And he complains that the Marines didn't retreat fast enough. He said the Confederates retreated faster
Rather
than the Marines.
quickly.
Yes. So and they said he's up on the Stigler's Grove Tower with all these guys, and he's yelling, "Get back there! Get back there!" Okay. So he was a little upset that
That's interesting.
that he felt it was not quite historically accurate.
And you mentioned the Ziegler's Grove Tower.
Yeah.
It's not there
It's
anymore.
not there anymore.
But there was a tower like we have on Culp's Hill,
Down at the south
Long
end of
Street
the Confederate
Tower,
line, right?
up at Ziegler's Grove as
Right.
well.
And that's the one where the president's watching it.
That's
right?
where, So Harding's up there, Pershing's up there, all the dignitaries are up there.
Is there any like footings or anything left of that
Not
today?
that I'm aware of. I mean, I walked around back there and I haven't seen anything. I mean, there's kind of a square clearing in the orchard there, which
Okay.
I guess, kind of gives you a sense of where it was.
But no, nothing. Because I believe
Big
up on
Round Top,
Big Round
there
Top
is
there
some
are.
footing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I only know that because I went up there once 20 years ago and refused to do that again unless somebody drops me from a helicopter.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
See, Fat Matt's back.
There you go.
Tim Day found an answer about Pickett's charge.
What's that?
6 to 7,000.
6, 7.
Now that's of the 12,000.
No. That's
but
of the
Pickett's
12,000.
division.
How many did Pickett's division itself lose?
Somewhere between 42 to 50, says Great Google.
Percent
Correct.
out of
Now
6,500?
you're asking a secondary question. Why don't you?
It doesn't
ask
have all that
exactly
information.
what you
Let's-
want?
I want to
Let's
know
see.
how many he had going in. How many did he lose? I don't care about the percentage unless you
Somewhere
could tell me the
between
number that the percentage equals.
6,200.
What? 6,200
To 6,500.
Now that-
is his total.
Yes.
And then he lost about 50%.
Yes.
you're
Okay,
looking
so like
a little
30,
over
3,000, 3,500. That's
Okay.
why I was asking, because it
So
sounded
it's
like,
close to the number that are
of
actually
casualties.
You could do an episode on Pickett's Charge and learn these things.
well, we happen to, actually, the next one that we're doing is going to be on Pickett's
Hey,
What a
Charge.
promo!
that.
Hey, I stumbled into that one.
truly amazing.
This is a lot more planned out than you think.
It is. I'm impressed now. Okay, I just thought this was haphazard and just
That's the way we like to make it look,
Okay.
Rich. We just want you to be confused
Okay.
and always on your toes.
Now I need to be better prepared because I'm here clearly. I'm just winging this stuff.
No, yeah, no, we plan this months in advance.
Okay.
All right, so now the second one
July the
that they
4th.
do. Now this is interesting because they're using modern.
Modern equipment, modern tactics, modern weapons. So it's going to be open order, advancing across the fields, not the solid lines of troops. You're going to have mortars. You're going to have machine guns.
Oh,
you're
really?
going to have tanks. The planes are up in the air.
But nobody on the other side.
Nobody on the other side.
Still, okay.
Okay.
Now, how do you do mortars? Just this boom?
They're
or-
apparently trench mortars that they have with them that they're moving forward and they're
But they're
firing,
not-
They're firing blanks.
but they are firing
They are
something.
firing blanks.
Okay,
Yeah.
but there's nobody downrange.
No.
Because they're also going to set up a machine gun.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay, yeah.
Well, let's talk about the
Okay.
artillery
Okay,
first
go.
because we talked about where's the artillery on July the 1st and July the 3rd. July the 4th, the artillery's on Her Ridge because that's the range of a World War I era 75 millimeter cannon.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, and one of the guys in the planes snapped a picture of the artillery in action.
Oh, and we have this. So they didn't put them on Seminary Ridge. Okay, this is fascinating. Okay, so this is the Fairfield
That's
Road.
the Fairfield Road.
Okay. This is Hers Ridge,
Yes.
which is now like Ralph Siegel's house,
Yeah,
and
this
all
is-
these people live
right,
out there.
That's all built up today.
Yeah,
It's all open farmland, in 1922.
unbelievable.
But that's
Look, Ralph, you see what you ruined? Look at all that
Exactly.
beautiful land.
Ralph is down in his backyard with the metal detector going. Maybe they left something behind.
No, Ralph is going, why the hell do you tell people
Yeah,
where I
don't
live?
tell them where I live.
That's the other possibility. First, that's 24 cannon
Yeah, look at that
firing
smoke.
blanks. Look how much smoke that's creating.
Yeah,
Think about 150, 160 cannon.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, and it looks like it's kind of a windy day.
Yeah.
The smoke's going in a
there's
certain
still-
direction. Yeah, Are
Of
we
course, it's
facing?
also more rapid firing.
Oh, yeah, sure. Are we facing out?
We're facing west.
So okay, so the town is behind the camera.
Yes, yes.
the-
I think that's Willoughby Run down in the lower left.
Okay.
Kind of, that's meandering across there towards the road. I have no idea. There's two buildings there. I've spent years driving up and down the Fairfield Road going,
where are
these
these?
places still here? I don't think they
Yeah, I
are.
think I almost bought that house. Okay, so there you go. So that's really cool.
Yep. So you've got the artillery, which the fire is being coordinated by the observation balloons.
Okay, but now I just have to get this in my head here. They're firing blanks.
They're firing blanks.
Okay. Nobody's firing live rounds or even dummy rounds or anything like that from any cannon or mortar.
No.
The
No.
mortars.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they are, but again, they're one of the things we're experimenting with is I got a guy in a blimp or a balloon. He's got a radio. He's talking to the commander of the artillery, giving them coordinates. We've got aircraft flying along the front line of the enemy position, dropping flares. So they're kind of using air to ground communication and really cooperation between the aerial force and the ground force. To try to do this.
You want this one next?
So let's do this one first. Because in the middle of all of this, one of the planes peels off and shoots down a balloon. And that's the burning wreckage of the balloon on the ground, okay, after it was shot down. What had apparently happened is this balloon had been condemned,
Okay.
and they were going to scrap it anyway. And Roy Geiger, who's in charge of the aviation section, says, hey, if we're going to scrap this thing, let's take it to Gettysburg.
Let's have some fun with
yeah,
it.
let's take it to Gettysburg and blow it up.
Right, all right, yeah. I
So,
like this.
So they shot it down using what they describe as composite bullets. Sounds to me like maybe a flare type of thing that they're firing,
Right.
towards the balloon that's
Yeah.
going to ignite it, and then
That's how they took them out with incendiary bullets.
okay, so that's
yes.
what they're using.
Okay.
if you look really closely to the left of the column of smoke,
So right here.
there's a parachute.
Yeah.
And so,
Poor bastard.
right. So, the newspaper accounts are like, then a Marine jumps out and the parachute opens up and he floats to the ground. And I was like, did they really
No, that's too
tell
risky.
some guy, okay, Bob,
Yeah.
here's
Yeah,
what we're
yeah.
going to do today.
Your turn.
You're going to go up
Good
to
luck,
the
Bob.
balloon and we're going to shoot the balloon up and jump out of the plane or the balloon and open up your chute. No, they did not do that. Okay, so here's the answer to that question of how do we see some guy in a parachute floating to Earth? Look at the basket.
Looks like a dummy.
Looks like a mannequin.
Yeah.
That's what it is. There's a
Okay.
mannequin with a parachute, and the ripcord was attached to a cord that when it burned off, it dropped him, and the
okay.
chute opens up.
Okay, so because they know that they're going to set the thing on fire,
Right.
fight it,
Right.
and take it down, they've set it up in a way that they could use the fire to help get rid of this guy.
Right.
That's good.
Yep.
That's pretty
So
clever.
yeah, so there actually was not a real Marine bailing out of the flaming wreckage of the balloon. Okay. So,
That's pretty good.
okay.
Who
So-
who here would get assigned to have to be in the balloon?
Tad.
Tad.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, that's not even a question.
That's
Mike.
Tad job.
Right. Now, Tad, you got it. When you see the plane, when you see the flash of the muzzle, that's when you got to jump.
Do I have to?
You
Is
give
that
it. You give.
requirement?
You give him a little step stool so he can get up over the little basket. There you go, Tad.
Mike, literally anyone
Right.
else here could have made that joke except
Except for you. Yeah.
No,
I'm only 5'3". I could have made that joke too.
there you go.
We're not making the
Alright.
joke. We're saying we know that's what we would need.
That's
That's
Give me
what
a
you
step
would need.
stool.
Yeah,
I
you would
see.
need a step
Alright,
stool.
yeah.
Right.
Jeez.
And you'd be like, wee.
a little slide.
Yeah.
There you go.
Geronimo. All right. So where were we then?
Okay,
after
so we
that
shot
moment?
down the balloon. The Marines are still
yes.
advancing.
Yes.
And now we have a simulated enemy machine gun nest in the Kadori house,
Oh.
which has to be neutralized.
No, wait. Who owns the house?
Farmer by the name of Redding.
So they let him go in there. Okay.
Okay.
I got it.
So to neutralize the machine gun nest, they bring up the tanks.
Oh.
Now I've not found a picture of this. I've only found one picture of the tanks at Gettysburg, which I'm going to show you in a second. But they bring the tanks up, and they're basically parking in the middle of the Emmitsburg Road, firing blanks at the front door of the Kadori house.
Oh my God, I
to
can't imagine.
neutralize this machine gun.
I can't imagine that. But wouldn't that bust out the
I would
windows?
think there's going to be some sort of collateral
Yeah.
damage here.
I mean, they're right there.
Yeah.
It's got to do
So,
something.
But here's a picture of the three tanks, and this is before they actually do the reenactment. And it's the Renault tanks, like we
Yep.
we're familiar with Camp Colt, First World War. And everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the one that's furthest away has a 37 millimeter cannon
Okay.
in the turret. The one that the two guys are looking at had a machine gun in the turret.
Okay.
The tank that's closest to us, and this again was another innovation that they're testing, is a radio tank.
Interesting.
That's why it's a larger
Yes.
turret. Now it doesn't have any armament because you got to make room for an extra guy and a radio.
So what's the normal crew then when it's not a
Normal
radio?
crew is two.
Two.
So you have a gunner / commander and a driver.
Yeah.
Okay. But here you've got a third guy who's the radio operator.
Okay. Now, so then are all the tanks able to communicate with radio?
Of course not. So the radio tank can communicate to the aircraft,
All right.
but the individual tanks don't have radios. So you have to send a runner
Oh.
from the command
Oh,
tank
what a pain in the ass.
to the other tank and say, okay, the guys up in the plane told us there's a machine gun over there, so we want you to go over and deal with that.
That couldn't be
Yeah.
efficient.
No.
That's not a good
No,
way.
that's probably why they only build about 24 of those radio tanks. And they went, okay, until we have radios in every tank, this isn't making a whole lot of sense.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any
Yep.
sense.
so, but that's one of the, again, they're testing new equipment here. And that's one of the things that they were trying out.
That's fascinating. And I think it's so cool too that they used that. I mean, I know they had their purpose for doing it in the view of the public,
Yeah.
but I think it's cool that they did that. They should still do that. That would be so neat if we could do like just I mean, talk about like pride, right? You want to see what your boys can do.
Yeah, exactly.
And give us a stripped down version. We know it's there's too many spies around.
But
So just
that's what
give us the 20-year-old version. Who cares?
So what do we got here?
All right, so then-
okay,
so-
now we have the machine guns.
Okay, here we go.
What
This
you were
is
asking me about
interesting.
earlier. So this
Yeah,
is
'cause I have
this is
questions.
this is Pickett's heavy weapons platoon. Okay, this is
So same spot. This
Yep,
guy
as-
must have
as-
set his camera on a tripod in the middle of the road.
Exactly. Came back on July the 4th.
Yeah.
Got the pictures.
All right. So what do
Was
we
the
got?
30 caliber water cooled machine gun
So we're looking right here.
right there. Yep. There's another one that's kind of concealed in the smoke a little bit further back.
Somewhere around here.
Yeah, the guy on his knee there is an officer. He's probably setting off either a smoke grenade or a flare of
Okay.
some sort.
You can see his pistol.
Yep, hanging there. There is a newspaper account that said that an officer setting off a flare was injured
Okay.
during the July the 4th reenactment and was transported to the hospital by one of the newsreel trucks. They did have newsreels,
Yeah.
photographers present. There's an uncropped version of this where just to the right of the billowing clouds of smoke, there's a truck with civilians on it. I don't know if this is the incident they're referring to in the newspapers or not, but it's kind of consistent with.
So you think
the
this
way
is the
it's
moment that
described.
he got hurt?
Maybe. Could very well be.
Could be.
Could very well
We
be.
don't know.
We don't know. Right.
Where was the hospital? Was it
Well, they're taking him to what was then the Gettysburg Community Hospital, which is really the same place as
Same
today.
place.
It was then called, I think, Annie Warner Hospital or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
then
right.
this is this same photographer must have turned his camera around and took a picture in the opposite direction up the Emmitsburg Road.
Oh, there's another machine.
There's
gun.
another machine gun. They're pushing boxes of ammunition towards it.
So okay, this is interesting stuff. So here's the tower.
Yep.
It's kind of faint there, but it's up there.
Right.
And then you've got the Bryan Farm
Yeah,
houses.
and you can kind of make out some like a line of people up there, probably in Ziegler's Grove, like probably spectators watching this thing.
Yeah.
When you really blow it up.
Yeah.
But this is as far as the Marines got on July the 4th.
Okay. Now wait. Let's put a pin in that because
Okay.
I just want to ask about that.
What's that?
So I want to ask about that, but I want to point out some things in the picture here. So McDonald's
Yes.
is about somewhere
It's about
there,
there.
and Pickett's Buffet is about there,
About there.
maybe,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then now after the trust got that field, that's all gone now and everything. But this is Colt Park. This is
We'll be over there to the left.
yeah. So today there's that modern development
Right.
back here, but
And you see there's a sign on a pole there?
yes.
That's where the railroad line crossed the Emmitsburg Road.
Oh yeah. Oh right. The old electric trolley.
No,
this is the railroad.
the railroad that went from town down behind the Round Tops.
Behind the Round Tops,
Yeah,
yes.
what they called the Round Top Branch.
Yes. And what was the purpose of that?
That was just kind of a tourist.
But it's not the electric trolley
No,
tourist.
it's different.
It's a different tourist.
That's a different program.
yeah.
It's the train. It's the train. It's the train station they just started reusing again for the train. It's that train.
yeah.
Similar, close,
Gettysburg.
close. It was this line actually came more or less right through where the post office is today, as
Okay.
it extended
I'm wrong.
extended south.
Oh.
So, but
Huh. All right.
that's another topic.
Is that?
Yeah, we should do that another time.
Do you see that? Do you see that fence there in the corner? Is that the road that today goes down to the Bliss Farm? You know, like the last road there.
Well, actually, what that is the entrance to the camp.
Oh, okay.
What are you
yeah.
talking
That
here?
right
Yes,
there.
yep.
Yeah, they had an entrance on the Emmitsburg Road
Oh, what is this?
for people. That's part of that. That's actually the entrance way. I think that might be what Mike was talking about.
okay.
And that was the entrance where public access to the Marine encampment was.
Notice the what is that? The Ike tree or whatever that
Yep.
evergreen isn't there.
It's not there yet.
Yep. Because he wasn't really anybody important at that point.
Right.
Ah, that's so cool.
Yep.
Um,
Now, one of the newspaper accounts says they couldn't fire blanks out of the machine guns, so they were firing live ammunition into the ground in front of their position.
yes. So if you were to, which you should not because it's illegal, but if
It's
you
a bad
were
idea.
to go and metal detect out there, you'll find some, 30 caliber? Is
If
that what they
that's
were?
accurate, if they weren't using
Wow.
blanks, yeah, you very well might.
That's crazy. One more thing, and then we'll take the picture down here, is you don't see these anymore because of Ted Turner.
Yep.
Ted Turner gave the money to put the power lines underground, subterranean, ladies and gentlemen. And there you go.
There we are.
That's it. Okay.
Okay.
So now, why couldn't they fire blanks? Would they just
I don't
get
know.
jammed?
I
or
don't know. I have no idea.
They just didn't want it. That was an excuse they
I've
made.
heard they couldn't. I've heard that they could. I've heard different versions from different people. So I have no idea. Okay.
Well, that's
But
still a good
again,
story.
That reenactment stops at the road. And what the Marines are going to do, and they write an after-action report where they're discussing all this stuff. And they said that their assessment was that with modern weaponry on Cemetery Ridge, the charge would not have been able to get beyond the Emmitsburg.
So my question is, how do they know that since there was nobody on Cemetery
I guess
Ridge?
they're assuming this would be how many troops would be positioned there. This is what type of weaponry they have.
So if they have machine guns,
They're going to stop us when we get to the road.
okay.
Now, their assessment was that the attack would not have been attempted because due to aerial reconnaissance, you would know the actual strength of the opposing position.
And also, we're not that stupid.
So that was kind of their conclusion with the July the 4th reenactment.
Again, I just lost the rest of our Southern listeners. I'm sorry. Guys, I just like to tease. I do like to tease. All right. Where are we now?
One final picture I just wanted to show, and then we'll kind of we'll take questions.
Yeah.
This is a great shot. This is during that period between June the 26th and June the 30th. That's the monument to the 106th Pennsylvania that's up by the high water mark, up by the copse of trees. And it is a Marine, and you can see a tour going on in the background.
Yep.
If you look in the background, there's that huge group of Marines. This is probably one of those battlefield tours they were doing.
You could tell because there's one person pointing.
Yes, there's a guide in the middle
It's
pointing.
obviously a guide.
Clearly a guide.
Yeah.
The veteran with this Marine is identified as E.M. Jackson. He was a member of the 141st Pennsylvania Infantry here at Gettysburg, who was detached to one of the 3rd Corps artillery batteries.
Okay.
And did actually fight here out on the second day of the battle.
See, Stephen Taft, you should have come in tonight. There's one of your veterans. He loves the 141st.
So there you go. It's one of those guys.
That's a very cool picture.
Yep.
I like that picture a lot, actually.
Yep. And there's completely coincidental. There was a
I want to get that hung on the wall.
there was a cartoon. I think it was in one of the Chicago papers that looks very similar to that, and it shows this very bedraggled Marine kind of on the ground, and there's this rock, and there's a Civil War veteran sitting on top of the rock, and he's looking down on this guy, and he says, "Well, son, I don't think you did it any better than we did." Okay, so.
All right. If you've got any questions, of course, our patrons over at patreon.com/addressinggettysburg have already sent them in. By the way, coming up in September, we are having a discount on annual new first lieutenants. So if you're an annual member, if you become an annual member, I should say, from September on, no, just for the month of September, you get 25% off that first year. It's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. Anyway, our patrons over there sent the questions in, and so we're going to ask some of those. But also, we'd like to hear from your questions from you right now. 717-420-1978 is the number. It's pinned in the comment section. And also, of course, we will continue to answer questions that are in the Super Chats, $10 or more, and all of that jazz. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen, after these words. No, we won't, because there we go. Right back.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic. 717-420-1978. See you in a sec. Digital History Pioneers Foundation, we are about grassroots history on digital platforms. That means we are about podcasters, documentarians, YouTubers, and even TikTokers. All of these creators are out there trying to share their love of history with the public. They don't need ideas, they need funding, both from viewers and corporate donors. DH Pioneer's initial funding focus is on the Civil War era, with a special emphasis on the Addressing Gettysburg podcast. So be a vital part of the unique content Addressing Gettysburg has in store by donating at dhpioneers.com and help bring your love of history to the people. Digital History Pioneers is an IRS Section 501c3 approved charitable corporation that makes any donation tax deductible to the fullest extent of the law.
The Gettysburg Museum of History, located right here in the center of Gettysburg, PA. Owner and curator Eric Dorr grew up here and has spent his life collecting and preserving history through artifacts ranging from the Civil War, the Battle of Gettysburg, World War II, presidential items, pop culture, and more. His museum is free and open to visitors Wednesday through Sunday, 11 to 5 p.m., where you can stop by and immerse yourself in some of the most amazing artifacts that you would never believe exist in the middle of Gettysburg. If you're a fan of Band of Brothers and Everything Easy Company, you'll love his exhibit featuring the Dick Winters collection and artifacts from D-Day. You can even own your own piece of history by buying one of the many relics they have for sale in the museum and on the website gettysburgmuseumofhistory.com. The Gettysburg Museum of History is a non-profit 501c3 organization with a foundation that allows all purchases and donations to keep the museum operating and open free of charge. They have been featured on the History Channel, the Travel Channel, the Smithsonian Channel, and the Science Channel. Now you can check them out on American Artifact, the series on the YouTube channel, The History Underground. So that's the Gettysburg Museum of History at 219 Baltimore Street or the gettysburgmuseumofhistory.com.
If you like this podcast and what we're doing here, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.
Pickett's charge take?
That's another great question.
Who can forget the sounds of the 60s?
The 1860s. I can't, and you can't either. Now, there's Marching Through Georgia, the exciting new album by Billy Webster. All of your favorite hits of the 1860s in one place. Such hits as Gary Owens, The Battle Hymn of the Republic, All Quiet Along the Potomac Tonight, Marching Through Georgia, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for? Go to billysongs.com and order your digital download of Billy Webster's Marching Through Georgia today. That's billysongs.com. Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum, is housed in the historic Lutheran Seminary building constructed in 1832, a witness to the first day of battle. The museum's 3 floors of exhibits connect visitors to the dilemmas that led to the Civil War, provide a powerful and personal view of the battle's first day, and explore one of the battlefield's largest hospitals. No visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center is complete without a guided tour of the building's famous cupola, where on the eve of battle, officers and civilians saw thousands of Confederate soldiers' campfires burning to the west, and Brigadier General John Buford watched for vital federal reinforcements as fighting erupted on the morning of July 1st. Today, you can stand where Buford stood and discover how this view helped chart the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. Your trip to Gettysburg is not complete without a serious visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum. Purchase tickets online at seminaryridgemuseum.org or call 717-339-1300.
To get tickets or a cupola tour, listeners may call or walk in and mention Addressing Gettysburg, or by ordering online using the promo code AG1863 for 20% off.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. It began here.
There's a devil to pay.
When you're dragging ass out of bed and the hair's mussed up on your head, you picture the 20th Maine and you're happy once again. Fight the battle against being slow with little ground top, bro.
When you're dragging ass out of bed, the hair's mussed up on your head. You picture the 20th Maine, and you're happy once again. Fight the battle against being slow with Little Brown Top Bro.
Addressing Gettysburg's Little Ground Top by Bantam Roasters is available at 82 Steinware Avenue in Gettysburg or at addressinggettysburg.com/cafe.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
All right, wonderful. Do. All right, listen, real quick. A lot of people have been saying, oh my God, where did you get that awesome Getty's Nerd trademark shirt or jacket? What is this, a hat? It's a hat. Where did you get it? Well, we got it at the Heritage Depot, Addressing Gettysburg shop. This is Getty's Nerd Apparel, ladies and gentlemen, trademark. We have had this for a couple of years now. And, I said, I'm going to buy one of my own hats. And, you get it at cost when you're the store owner. But still, you got to buy it. And I bought it, and I wear it around, and people go, ooh, where did you get that? You look super sexy because of that. And I go, well, I went to addressinggettysburg.com, and I went to our shop, and I got it at the Getty's Nerd Apparel store. And it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. That's all you got to do. Just go to addressinggettysburg.com, Mikey. Navigate up top to the store, and then you click it, and it'll take you right to where you need to go. On the interwebs.
Yeah.
On the interwebs. That's what you're going to do.
We use Prodigy in my house.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I use Prodigy. Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah.
And then AOL.
And then AOL. Bing.
What?
Ask Jeeves.
He's talking about websites. We're talking about
I know. You're talking about. What was the other one? It was Prodigy. Is Linux? Is that one of them? Mm-hmm. No.
That's
what was that?
Operating system.
Yeah.
No, Prodigy was like one of the first big ones.
Yeah. Well, addressinggettysburg.com is a website, and you don't have to worry about all this bullshit we're talking about here. And you head on over there. There's a lot of other things that you can notice and take advantage of. And well, you know what? There's a link to. No, there isn't a link to these.
I was going to say, whoa, lucky me.
That's coming up next.
What a lead.
Yeah. Anyway, addressinggettysburg.com. Head over there, check out the shop, check out other things. We got blogs. We got a whole bunch of stuff over there for you. Go check it out. Getty's Nerd trademark. Accept no imitations.
Hi, I'm Stephen Lunsford, patron of Addressing Gettysburg. Are you concerned about the state of history education these days?
Yes.
How about the declining visitation to historical sites and museums?
Hugely.
Do you believe that the youth have no appreciation or even have disdain for American history? If you answered yes to one or all of these questions, then you need to support communities like Addressing Gettysburg.
That's true.
We're listener-supported, not government-funded.
Nope.
And we want to make sure that the history that we love stays alive long after we're gone through entertaining and enlightening methods.
Wow.
Help us expand the scope, addressing Gettysburg's content, so we can pass the torch to the next generation. Join us at patreon.com/addressing Gettysburg. History of the people, by the people, for the people.
Oh, you're laying it on thick there, Stevie. Yeah, let's condense that. The check's in the mail. All right, so we're back now. It's time for questions. But before we get to the questions, of course, we have a winner, I believe, for our contest. The question was, and by the way, you get to get yourself a Gettysburg candle from Mikey B's company, Gettysburg Candle Company. Now, my favorite, of course, is the Peach Orchard because you just want to grab a spoon and try to eat the wax, but I wouldn't recommend that even though it is soy. I wouldn't recommend eating it.
You could try it. I'm gonna see what happens.
Did you ever smell one of these?
Yeah.
You did? Oh, okay. Well, then I won't bother. Then I won't bother you, Rich.
I bought some things online.
Here, take a. You did?
Yes, I have.
Really? Which one is the Peach Orchard your favorite?
Hope bought the candles. That's not.
He does sense.
But she also bought me a couple of shirts.
Hey, really?
I have the Get Off My Lawn shirt.
Well, those are his shirts. Yeah.
His shirt. I have
Yeah.
I have the famous Matthew Brady bunch shirt.
It's also. Oh, those are mine. Those are mine. Yeah.
Yes.
He splits. He doesn't have a favorite child.
Very good. Very good.
So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
For providing these fine products.
We try.
Yeah.
You don't want to smell that? Okay. The peach orchard. It smells like peaches.
Delightful. Smells like the peach orchard.
It is delightful. Exactly. Now,
the only thing it's missing is bus exhaust. You can actually work that in there.
You should add that.
You can add that.
That'll be the special.
You can add that to any of them. To Devil's Den,
Yeah.
right? Sunset from Little Round Top. You can.
Smells like the battlefield. There you go in April.
All right. So, who's our winner here, Mikey? Now, tell us about the contest.
The contest was guess what animal Rich is thinking of.
Right.
And he wrote it down on this piece of paper. He trusted me with the answer, which is good. We didn't get anyone relatively close, so we're going to go to closest in the region of the world.
Okay. Give us before you give us the answer.
Yep.
All right. And the winner. Give us a few of the other options that we heard or that we saw.
Had some good guesses.
Because I'm kind of curious.
We received mule.
Mule. Okay. I was gonna say horse or mule.
Camel.
Okay.
Walrus.
No, that's a good one.
A dog.
Sure. Who doesn't love a dog?
Wolverine.
Ooh. Scary.
Bulldog. Which fit in with
what we were talking about.
Which is why I didn't pick it.
Good.
It's too obvious.
Gibbon.
Clever. Because of John Gibbon.
Yep. But the winner, Matt, was none of those.
Oh.
The winner was the wonderful Waddle Platypus.
Of course.
Because his answer was the Komodo dragon. And they're kind of in the same region of the world, Australia, Indonesia. It's close.
It's close.
It's close enough. All right?
Good enough for government work, right,
that
Mikey?
winner was Jen Crisanto.
Jen Crisanto. Okay. So how would Jen get one of her candles?
She can email me at gettysburgcandles@gmail.com.
The candle is free. You're just responsible for shipping and handling, which is $700.
Yeah.
But no, what? Give it one more time. How does she contact you?
gettysburgcandles@gmail.com.
Just let Mikey know that you won the candle. Your name is Jen. And all. Well, you know. Mike will know. All right. Before we go on to the questions that are submitted by our patrons over at patreon.com/addressing Gettysburg, which you should all go and join right now because we are the coolest kids on the block. And I know people are like, oh, I don't need to be cool. No, you do. You really do. All right. Before we get to these questions, though, Dick Johnson is on the air. Dick Johnson, you are on the air, sir.
Dick here.
Pardon?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Dick is here.
Oh, he knows about the platypus out there, probably.
Oh, yeah. You have platypus down there in Australia, don't you? Platypi?
Of course.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. It's some fine-looking merch that Addressing Gettysburg is selling, Matt. Well done.
Thank you, Grant.
Was that a compliment?
I don't know. Where is he going with this? All right, come on, Grant. I have to go to bed.
Yeah, I said that's some fine-looking merch you got
Thank
going
you,
on.
Grant. It's the Getty's Nerd hat. Getty's Nerd trademark, of course, except no invitations. All right, so what can we do for you, Grant?
I'd just like to say to Rich, thanks for coming back on the show. I really enjoyed his Railroads episode.
Yes.
I watched that a couple more times. And, Thank
you.
But just as question as far as this episode is concerned, how did the 1922 event compare to the other? Like, did they ever do another reenactment on the scale of this one? I couldn't believe, like, tanks, machine guns, mortars. It's crazy.
With the 1923 event in Newmarket and the 1924 event in Antietam, it's going to be comparable as far as the number of Marines, the equipment, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if they got the kind of spectator turnout they got here. I suspect this was probably the big one.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, throughout the next 2 years, they're repeating this this type of event.
Mm-hmm. But as far as Gettysburg's concerned, they never. Why did they sort of stop doing this kind of? I know they do smaller reenactments and all that after this event, but they never thought to do such a large scale thing again.
There's some in the 30s, not to this kind of level, but I know they do. I believe they do some sort of a reenactment at Manassas. I think.
Is it the military doing it?
It's the military. Yeah. So
okay.
So yeah, I think it. And the Marines did recreate the March of Law's Brigade from New Guilford to Gettysburg sometime in the 30s. I don't know specifically when.
Oh, interesting.
And they actually couldn't match the time. It took them longer to get here than it took Law's Brigade to get here. But
soft.
So there
what
are
a soft generation.
There are some other events in the 1930s, but again, I don't think anything on this magnitude.
And there's also National Guard units, I know, that march out and camp on the battlefield.
Yeah,
and
that goes on. Really, I think the last active duty military unit that actually camped on the field itself and did maneuvers on the field was 1947. And it's down at where the amphitheater is now, and it was actually a chemical warfare unit. Did some maneuvers there.
Good.
Interesting.
So there's probably mustard gas buried under the amphitheater down. Who knows?
Great. Wonderful. Anything else, Grant?
I don't know if you've covered this. I'm sorry, I missed the start of the episode. What did the surviving veterans? What was their reaction to such a reenactment like this?
Probably the biggest thing. One veteran supposedly said that soldiering is pretty easy these days compared to what we did. So that's about the only thing I've seen as far as veterans reacting to the technology and that sort of thing. Overall, the veterans seem to enjoy seeing the battle being recreated there.
Yeah. I always I'll never know this because I'm not a veteran, but I wonder about what it's like for a veteran to see people reenacting their war.
I know there were some World War II vets who were not thrilled by World War II battle reenactments. I think it's still something that's still too raw.
Yes.
For lack of a better term.
Right. Yeah, I would feel the same way if I were them. Grant, anything else? I must move along.
I realize that, Matt. I've only had one more query for Rich, and then.
All right. What about questions? Can we just do questions?
However you want to do it.
Go ahead. Let's do a question.
What's the best reading material, Rich, to look more into this? Like, I never even thought to research this kind of thing, but it's a really fascinating subject as told by you.
There's not much out there.
Is there books or is there articles or anything that cover this kind of thing?
There is one book written a number of years ago. It's called The Last to Fall. Kind of focuses a little bit more on Hamilton's story. There is a biography on Hamilton himself, but
I would recommend actually what Mikey and I watched today to prepare for this, which was Rich's talk that he gave to the Army War College. We should find their real name. Back in 2020, 21, during COVID, he did a Zoom for them and has more pictures than he brought today, and tells the story without two idiots interrupting him the whole time. So if you really want just the unadulterated, what I'll do is I'll put the link in the comments. You're on it right now. Mikey's going to put in the comments, and then for those of you who are listening later, I'm going to put it in the description of the show.
It's a really good watch to cover
It
everything
really
we
is.
did. So that plus all the photos we wish we could have had. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
I'll tell you, it really is good. I was exhausted today, and I was laying on the couch watching it. I'm like, I know I'm going to fall asleep in the middle of this thing, and I didn't. Because I was actually interested. It kept me awake.
A good thing.
Yeah, and then I put The Sopranos on afterwards and fell asleep.
Okay.
And had some horrible dreams. I don't recommend falling asleep to The Sopranos. Jeez. All right. That's it, Grant, right? Thank you, Grant. Thank you for the call. God bless. All right. Joe Jacobs said, did the Marines beat Longstreet's July 2nd afternoon march time, Semper Fi?
I think that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And apparently they did not.
Okay. Vince Farina says, let me make sure here. I'm getting to that age where I have to lick my fingers. When the hell does that start? That's stupid. Vince Farina says, the motivation. Rich, there's a theory that the 1922 reenactment wasn't just for training, but a massive PR stunt. It's not a theory. This is a fact.
It is, yeah. I mean, they did both. I mean, that's why they did it. Yeah.
Now, how much of this, though, he wants to know, do you think was genuine tactical experimentation versus a theatrical display for important people?
I would say there was a fairly large component of training.
I mean, if you're going to bring them out, right, you might as well get something out of it.
Again, there's different numbers that different newspaper accounts throw out there, but I think the Marines themselves said that roughly half of the guys who were part of this in 1922 enlisted in the Marine Corps after World War I had ended. So they didn't have that practical experience. And probably of the half that were in the Marine Corps during the First World War, probably half of those were on fleet duty, not involved, in ground fighting. So yeah, I think there's a big training component in this, just to try to get these guys off the base, get them out there. I mean, they're spending 3 weeks marching, recreating battles, doing wargaming, and then back to Quantico.
Not just that, you've invited the commander-in-chief. So,
there's a little bit of pressure there.
Yep.
And the commandant of the Marine Corps is there.
Right.
And a legend who's received 2 medals of honor is the commander of the operation. So you're gonna do your best.
So tactical culture clash. He titles each subject here. When the Marines refought Pickett's charge in 1922 using tanks and modern communications, what was the reaction from the remaining Civil War veterans who were actually there to watch? Did they see it as a tribute or a total misunderstanding of their experience?
I've never seen anything in the newspapers that talks about the veterans' reaction to the July the 4th reenactment.
Were there not a lot of them?
I don't know how many were still here for that.
Yeah.
There's several hundred that are present in the camp, observing the reenactment. There's photos of Marines, interacting with, the Civil War vets. But I don't know how many of them were present on July the 4th.
Finally, the forgotten casualties. Can you tell the story of the plane crash? So we kind of did that.
We kind of covered that.
We think of Gettysburg as ending in
Hamilton
1963,
and
but where exactly the plane. Okay, we got all that in there for you. Okay, thank you very much for that question, Vince, or those questions. Jeffrey Pasnick, 2025's Listener of the Year. He says, what was the political and military climate that led to the 5 Civil War training exercises? So we kind of covered that one there, too. Let's see. How did General Lejeune's vision and leadership help the Marine Corps and set them up for victories years later?
Well, he's saving the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
So he's the savior.
I would say he's the savior of the Marine Corps.
His big job is, let's save this Corps and leave it to somebody else to figure out how to lead it to victory later on, right?
And again, 1922, they're not thinking in terms of a global war.
Yeah.
They're not thinking in terms of the amphibious doctrine that comes to kind of define the Marines during World War II.
How about Lejeune's? He wants you to talk about Lejeune's use of Civil War memory as a propaganda tool for the Marines.
No, we went through that, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely he understood that going to Civil War battlefields would get the attention of politicians, the media, and the American public, and that's why he's choosing to do that.
All right. Ghost of Sickle's Leg says, why Marines and not all Army? Again, this was a political thing to save the Marine Corps. Were they assigned escort duties of the veterans or for the veterans?
The only thing I've seen along those lines is Butler made it known, again, through the newspapers, that Civil War veterans would be welcomed in camp and they would provide accommodations for Civil War veterans.
Now, so I was going to ask you this before, too. Is it possible to pinpoint where precisely the temporary airstrip was?
Looking at the aerial photos, it's roughly where the second fence line is in front of the Virginia Monument.
Going across.
Yeah. There's also an area if you
and
walk,
by across, I'm sorry, I just
if we're
want people
going from
parallel to the Emmitsburg Road, roughly, is what I'm saying.
The airstrip would have been parallel to the Emmitsburg Road, and again, roughly halfway out.
Yeah,
and there is a fence line there.
Is it that first ridge that you come to?
Yeah, and it's really kind of well defined if you walk out there, especially in the winter when the vegetation's down.
Yeah,
there's an area there that's unnaturally level.
Okay. All right.
This is where I had. Is this what you're talking about here?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, where that fence line is.
Are you plugged in?
No. It's if you go.
Mikey.
Okay. It's the fence that eventually goes down to where those sharpshooter monuments are.
Yeah.
But just further north.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
That's the area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it goes very straight. It looks.
I mean, that's what it looks like.
It's very straight. Like I said, you walk out there and it's level. There's an area there. It's probably about 50 feet wide where it's very level. It's not undulating. It's just.
And they wouldn't have had to. When I say they built the airstrip.
It's just
they didn't have to
grading
do
it.
much. Yeah.
Right. It's a dirt strip. I mean,
the way they're landing was.
Yeah, they're just leveling it off.
Yeah.
The audience is very upset with you for not being plugged in so they could see. It's all right. It's all right, Mikey. All right, go ahead. That's my turn. I got it. Boy. All right, Spencer. Spencer says, is it possible? Oh, I just asked that one. What type of surviving documentation is the Marine Corps or similar entity possess in relation to these maneuvers, i.e. unit orders or reconnaissance reports produced during exercises? Yeah, anything like that?
There's after-action reports written. The aviation section writes, an article. A lot of this stuff appears in Leatherneck magazine, like in the 20s. There's a lot of newspaper stuff. I don't know of anything. I assume there is, in the archives of Quantico. I've been told by some folks, who were on the guide force, who were active duty Marines that, Quantico doesn't know half of what they've got. They just have such a large repository of documentation. A lot of what we found when we went down there, including photos, came from Smedley Butler's personal papers.
Oh.
Okay. But I'm sure there's stuff, we didn't look at Lejeune's papers. I'm sure there's stuff there. And, there's photo albums. And, we're still finding more stuff, I think.
You mentioned photos, and Spencer says, we have photos. We know this. What about film reels? And I think you mentioned something about...
There are newsreel photographers present. The big one that seems to do most of the work is, and I always wonder if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Pathe. It's Pathe. From England. Supposedly they still have in their archives and their holdings footage from this event.
But they won't let you look at it?
The Marine Historical Company got in touch with them, or got in touch with some repository in England. They said, yeah, we have it, but we won't share it unless you're an accredited educational institution.
Oh.
Now Pathe has a huge amount of stuff on YouTube. But the problem is it's not categorized. It's just like, okay, here's, 5-minute video number 22 or
they don't even tell you what it is?
or 1046, and literally you don't know what's on them.
That's annoying.
Get Rich my contact when we leave. I'll take care of that.
Okay.
Because I went to the school in the UK and I know I have plenty of people with credentials that can put in a request.
If we can get this stuff, hey, that's the Holy Grail.
Vafangul.
That's the Holy Grail.
There you
we
go.
had that.
Well, when you were talking about, the one thing I found fascinating is these guys are doing this march and they're setting up these big screens for them to watch reels of the news of them doing the march. They're like, oh, that's us.
Yeah, and some of the pictures in some of the encampments, you see this big movie screen with a projector. And they're actually showing screenings. And it's even, there was a movie theater, I assume it's where the Majestic is today here in Gettysburg, that was in operation in the 1920s. And they're advertising, amongst the feature films that they're going to be showing, newsreel footage of the Marines at Gettysburg. So this is like a couple days later.
Okay. Sorry, I was going to ask something and I forgot it, and then I'm just going to move on here to the questions that the listeners provided here. Okay, we touched on that. Dennis Cox, he says the 5th and 6th Marine regiments who came to Gettysburg were also the same regiments who fought in WW1.
Yes.
Do you know how many of those Marines marched through D.C. again 10 years later with the bonus marchers?
That I don't know.
Oh,
I do not know. Yeah. I mean, I imagine there's some in there, guys that left, that left the Corps for whatever reason, but, between, the 1922 event and the 30s, but I could not tell you.
The 20s is that kind of like period that you never really hear anything about. There's not a lot of movies that take place in the 20s.
Yeah, it's
like you just don't hear about.
It's kind of that lost decade between. There seems to be. There's World War I, and then suddenly we're in the Depression.
Yeah, yeah,
and then we're in World War II.
Totally skip
and
it.
Yeah, the 20s kind of gets overlooked.
Which tells me that's where all the secrets are hidden. And that's why we never hear about it.
They were busy. It was roaring.
That's right. That's roaring 20s. That's all
they
we
were
hear.
roaring their way through life.
They were flapping and roaring and drinking, and they did not care.
They really did have a great time, those people in the 20s.
But it's prohibition.
Yeah. Well, and that's the truth is when you prohibit something, it becomes a lot of
What
fun.
year did Prohibition go into effect?
I think 1919.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, and
that's why they're not making creative things.
There's,
No.
Yeah.
There's 3 arrests of locals during this Marine encampment trying to smuggle illicit alcohol into the camp to sell it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's reported in one of the newspapers.
That's funny.
There's all this kind of weird stuff that's going on in the periphery, like things like that.
Do they have any of the common old family names that are around here?
One of them is actually the name of a gentleman who for years and years and years was our senior guide.
Really?
Yeah, who's since passed on, but he would have been 4 years old at the time, and I could.
So it's not him.
Well, he might have been a mole or a mule rather. He might have been the guy that's taking
coyote.
Yeah,
Or
he's the guy
mule,
smuggling the
mule.
alcohol into the camp. So I wouldn't rule that out.
Let the kid in, Tom.
Yeah,
Let him in.
exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, fella.
Yep, exactly.
Sure.
That's a theory that's gained some traction in the guide force over the years. So.
Yeah, that's funny. All right. Well, listen. Any questions from the peanut gallery there, Mikey? All right.
They
very
were all
good.
saying this was a good episode, and they said Rich is the most amazing person in the entire world.
That is true. That is true.
Or something close to that.
Something close.
Thank you all for tuning in this evening. This is what was the other topic that you said is another show but I think we should do it.
Trolley.
What?
The trolley.
Oh, the trolley. Yes, let's do one on the trolley.
Just keep our streak of.
Is that one of your things?
Doing obscure stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one of my things. Yeah.
We'll do trolley and then the brothel on Little Round Top.
There you go.
Okay.
They're kind of slightly interrelated.
That's one of the obscure things I'd like to do.
Okay.
I think the trolley would be a great episode.
Oh, I do too.
I think even today's episode, I like when we do something a bit different.
I
I called you earlier and said, I think this is going to
be fun.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's fun to get away from the battle every once in a while. I know.
I've always maintained the history of the battlefield is almost as fascinating as the history of the battle itself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think so. It's funny because Stephen Taft, also known as Derek, he goes, "What's tomorrow's show about?" And I told him, and he goes, "I'm still trying to learn the battle." And I said, "Well, that's all right, and this is fun." And he goes, "Yeah." You get more people to watch if you just stick with the battle. And I go, but I get bored with the battle, so I have to get away from it. And this is interesting stuff. And we wouldn't care about any of this. First of all, there wouldn't be a Marine Corps reenactment if there wasn't a battle, right? But that's an interesting story in and of itself. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, life without the United States Marines? Imagine if we had gotten rid of the United States Marines in the 1920s, and then we had WW2 to go and fight over there in the Pacific. What would we have done without the Marines there? I guess we would have thrown the Army at them. But, I mean,
when I
geez.
was on Okinawa, it would have been a much more peaceful place.
When you were on Okinawa.
Yeah, without the Marines. There would have been a lot less base lockdown. So I'm sitting here thinking, it's not that bad.
Maybe it would have worked out better. Maybe it would have worked out okay.
Is that what you were looking up like that?
Yeah, I'm thinking I would have been able to go out more. See, Lens finds it funny.
I was going to say, he thinks it's hilarious.
Lens finds it all funny.
Rich, I liked the compensation episode that you did. That was very
that's,
fun.
People like the pay, people like the commissary.
Yep. The railroads pay, feeding the soldiers.
Just, the unusual stuff has a certain attraction.
Well, I always believed and this I developed with music was because at the time, what was it? Norah Jones had that song "Don't Know Why," and John Mayer had whatever his song was at the time, and they both won Grammys. But this was after years of nothing but Pop-Tarts and rap winning, right? Music, like just the most soulless music ever.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, this like jazzy girl and this bluesy guy both walk away with all these Grammys. And I said to myself, this proves to me that even though the public has been, listening to all this crappy music, it's only because that's all you gave them to listen to. But if once you throw something good out there, people still know good music. And I lost my train of thought.
That's a great point.
What were we talking about?
You're trying to say that's why these deep episodes
Apparently
are good.
I'm the John Mayer
There we go. Right. No, that's what I was saying is that on the surface, if I were to say to you, yes, this week's show is about paying the soldiers, right? You'd go, ugh.
Really?
Like Stephen Taft did last night, right? He'd be like, oh, please, But no, I guarantee you when Stephen Taft watches this, he's going to go, you know what? I stand erected. This was a great topic.
Well, what was the one we did? Was it feeding? Was it logistics?
We did the commissary and we did railroads and we did pay. Yep.
The soldiers don't get here if they're not fed.
I am now.
Soldiers what?
The soldiers never get to Gettysburg if they're not fed.
They're not fed.
That's true. And that's what I'm saying is you don't know it's interesting until we tell you it is.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's right.
Okay, that's a fact of life, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed.
And that's because we are here in the trenches, in the fields, if you will, out there
addressing
Gettysburg and everything about it for you. Not for us. You think we like doing this? No, we don't. We hate it, all of us. But we do it for you because we know you like to learn about these things. And we were out there and we're finding stuff. Mikey B has something to say and then we're going to go.
Think you could throw out one more Dan Butterfield from Eric to Rich. Thank you for another great episode.
Wow. This is two Dan Butterfields.
Dan Butterfield.
Yeah.
Good episode.
Yeah,
Good job,
that was
kids.
good. Thank you, Rich. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Tad. Thank you for working in the back there. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, pizza tonight was provided by our friend Tim Day.
Yeah.
You waited till he left.
I know.
Thank you.
I like to do that sometimes just to make people feel bad. And Tim, you can thank Tim by donating to Digital History Pioneers Foundation at dhpioneers.com. And that's it for us here. Mikey, thank you, and we'll talk to you. Tad, did I thank you?
Yes, you did.
Got to make sure you thank everybody, otherwise people get all upset.
You did thank me.
All right, thank you. You guys have a great one. Talk to you next time.
Addressing Gettysburg's Ask a Gettysburg Guide is produced by Matt Callery, Mikey B. Bariski, and Tad Scase. Hosted by Matt Callery, featuring Mikey B. and Court Nicker. Engineered by Tad Scase. Guests booked by Dave Bussiere of TR Historical. Broadcasting from and recorded at the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios. Thanks for listening.
Instead of small drink down there and pay the reckoning on the mail, no man forget shall go to jail from Gary and glory. Instead of small drink down there and pay the reckoning on the mail, no man forget shall go to jail from Gary and glory.
Copyright 2026, Addressing Gettysburg LLC, all rights reserved.